Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to learn how FedEx can help your business thrive online. The first hour of Sports 56 Middays is also brought to you by Action247.com. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I got a piece of land out in the countryside. Lay back and smell the sun. Warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good friends that live
Greetings
down
and
the
salutations. Welcome in, everybody, to the Tuesday edition of Sports 56 Middays. And once again, it is absolutely spectacular weather here in this best month of the year, October. It's the Tuesday, October 6th, 2020 edition of the program. I'm Greg Gaston, along with Eli Savoy, Gabe Kuhn, and a cast of thousands in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40, the world's biggest spa sale going on right now. And make sure when you stop by Family Leisure, pick up an official Sports 56 mask. Wear those masks and proudly the emblazoned Sports 56 logo. Wear that around the city and around the community. Well, thank you for that, and you'll be happy about it. No question about it. All right, on the program today, we are very, very busy. First of all, I want to give a shout-out to our first-hour sponsor, and that is Action247.com. We thank all our great sponsors. Coming up on the program today, we'll talk NFL and Major League Baseball from Monday. It was a sneaky good sports day yesterday with 2 Monday Night Football games, 2 Major League Baseball playoff games as the American League Divisional Series got underway. Today, all teams will be in action in the Major League Baseball playoffs. That's 4 from each league, so 4 different games on tap today. But we will discuss the NFL. We will discuss Major League Baseball. And the NBA Final resumes tonight, where the Heat will try to even things up with the Los Angeles Lakers. Connor O'Gara will join us at 10:25, as he does every Tuesday, to talk some college football. At 11:05, speaking of the Major League Baseball playoffs, our friend Scott Miller, the National Major League Baseball columnist for Bleacher Report, and for Turner Sports, will join us to talk some baseball. And then at 11:25, Jeff Crane from the University of Memphis, their deputy athletics director, he will join us. We'll have 2.5 questions on the docket today. We'll do our NFL 3 stars from week number 4. We have Humdinger's Trivia coming your way at 11 o'clock. And at 12 o'clock or 12:05, it's our 5 favorite songs. Topic today is better. Our 5 favorite songs topic today is better. And make sure you text in at 67129 if you'd like to participate. That's the First Bank text line. Or if you're watching us live, you can message us with the lists, as many people do, at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. So a lot of different ways to contact us with your lists or any other questions or comments that you have. You could always text in on the First Bank text line at 67129. Before we do anything, it is time to celebrate.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
It is my partner, Eli Savoy's birthday today. Happy birthday, Eli.
Well, thank you. Who is that? What is that? What is that version of Happy Birthday there?
Stevie Wonder.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's a really good version, to be honest with you. I asked Gabe to do the Beatles. It's your birthday. And he said, how about Stevie Wonder? I said, yep, that's the call right there. Stevie Wonder does a great rendition of the Happy Birthday tune.
Love me some Stevie. Always love some Stevie. Can't go wrong with Stevie.
So you got a, 45th? 44th? 46th?
46.
46 years old.
Yes, indeed. Just a few years away from the senior tees.
Yeah, 4 years away from the promised land. Halfway to a century mark. How you feeling?
I just hope to be able to play the senior tees. That's my goal, is to live long enough to play the senior tees.
So when are you supposed to be playing the senior state? Here's the deal. I've been playing a lot of golf lately, and I've been playing a lot of golf with my son and other people, and I'm going further back. I don't need to be going further back, but I'm playing.
So you don't have to play the same tees as the people you're playing with.
I know.
You should go forward.
I know, but I've been moving back, and it's fine on the city courses. I mean, when I'm playing Galloway, and I'll be playing Galloway today or any of the other city courses, I'm fine from the back tees. But you start to play some of the more challenging courses, and they're good, they're great courses. I love playing them, but the more challenging courses, then you're like, no, I'm going nowhere near the back tees. But what is the age that you should be moving up? Like technically, what's senior tees?
Well, if you're playing like scrambles and stuff, they'll always give you some. Those are often different, but I mean, the senior tour starts at 50 years old, so you could say that 50 years old is considered a senior golfer because that's what the pros play the senior tour as. So you could, at 50 years old, move forward. Play the senior tees.
Well,
You can always find a reason to move up.
I am long past 50. I'm almost 60.
I mean, some tournaments will go 60, some will go 65. Others may use 50. They may use one for 50 and one for 60, and something like that. But if you're playing like a scramble, they'll always give you. But in golf on the professional tours, we consider 50 years old to be a senior golfer.
Right. But there's guys that may dabble on the Champions Tour, like Phil Mickelson, who's played one event and won the event, but they still consider themselves younger. I still consider myself younger.
I didn't see Phil in that senior event going to the back tees. I think he played the same tees as the other guys.
He did, but he still is going to be playing a lot more regular tour, PGA Tour events. And if I'm going to play with my son and his buddies, by golly, I'm going to sit back there on the back tees and try to hit as far as I can, which is not too far. But I've actually been playing okay. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying doing that, but I will definitely take advantage of it sooner than later. I hope you have a great birthday today. I know you're going to be bolting out of here right before the last segment because you're involved in an event today, golf event, and you got the perfect weather to do so.
That's right. Playing a little outing today for the Boys and Girls Club. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to, getting out in this weather. Boy, oh boy. Man, oh man, I'll tell you what, this is great stuff.
So behind you today, you have a six-pack of SEC coaches. Is it all SEC coaches there? Who's the bottom left guy?
No, it is not all SEC
No, it's not.
coaches.
No, there's Dabo. I'm looking right at Dabo. So
you got Dabo, you got Clay Helton, you've got Chip Kelly.
That's Clay?
You got Jim Harbaugh.
Oh, I couldn't see Harbaugh behind you. Yeah, what am I talking about? I saw O and I saw Saban.
Two of the six are SEC coaches.
Yeah, it wasn't even close, was I?
You had 33%. You had 33.33333%.
See, O takes over that screen, man. I'm looking at O, and then I looked at his side at Saban, and then I just assumed, and I should not have, but there's Dabo. Boy, Clay in that photo looks like he's aged a lot.
Well, what's happened at USC has probably aged him a lot.
Man.
That's not exactly a shocker. Things have not gone real well at USC for him.
He's been kind to us here on this show. He's been on periodically, and, of course, with his voice, he sounds the same. But looking at that photo, it looks like poor Clay's aged a bit.
When every year they're talking about your job security, that tends to age you a little bit. So
that'll get to you. That'll get to you.
But today is National Coaches Day. So
across the board, coaches in every sport.
Yes, it's
whatever
Coaches
level
Day.
it is.
So kudos to all those coaches out there, whatever level that you're coaching at or have coached at or whatever, helping youngsters try and realize their dreams. Obviously, unfortunately, a lot of coaches here in the Memphis area, and throughout this year, really around the country, just haven't been able to do their normal things. And that's unfortunate, but kudos to all of those coaches out there who have impacted young people's lives and many times give a lot of their time for very little pay. Now, these guys behind me, they get a lot of money. But for those other folks out there that don't get paid a whole bunch to do what they do, kudos to you guys.
Yeah, well said. The coaches, they're a treasure. I mean, they are so important to the upbringing of a young boy or girl's life. And certainly I've had the coaches in my history that have helped shape me. And for the most part, I mean, the coaches are really, really good leaders, and they set the examples. I think they're good. They're really good role models and mentors. There are a few bad apples, but there's a few bad apples in everything. And I think the coaches around here, it's a thankless job. The coaches anywhere, it's a thankless job. So we need to thank them. And today is their day. Gabe, of course, is now a coach.
That's right. He's one of the guys who isn't getting to be able to do his thing right now, really.
Absolutely.
Also,
okay.
though, he also is an instructor as well with camps and things of that nature. So Gabe has decided to spend at least some of his time molding young football players.
Mm-hmm.
So we appreciate that. We thank you, Gabe, for what you're doing.
Today, by the way, also National Eat Fruit at Work Day.
You're skipping that one.
So if you've got some fruit, feel free to eat it at work today. It's National Noodle Day. If you want to throw some noodles with your fruit, go right ahead and do that. National Plus Size Appreciation Day.
Thank you.
I'm celebrating. That one I'm definitely celebrating. Hope I'm appreciating myself for that one. I'm not sure if that's a coincidence that my birthday falls on National Plus Size Appreciation Day or not. I'm not sure how that worked out for me.
It is weird that it's National Plus Size Day on a day where they celebrate fruit. They should be celebrating the triple hamburger today on Plus Size Day.
It's also National German American Day. So if you know any German Americans,
I
salute them.
Do not off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's some I know.
And National Orange Wine Day.
Orange wine. I don't like wine. I like oranges.
Yeah, I don't dabble in the wine. But
so there's a lot of national stuff.
Orange
today.
wine is a thing.
I guess so. I don't know.
I've heard of strawberry wine, not orange wine.
So here's a question, and I'll ask both of you. So it is National Coaches Day. Gabe obviously probably has a little more to choose from, but what coach from your time as an athlete, going way back for you, Greg, what coach impacted your life the most?
Mr. Pete, my Little League coach. My Little League coach, Mr. Pete, would just give us individual instruction. He was the best. He had the patience of a god. He shaped me from when I was in 8th grade, because by the time I was in Little League, which was the Williamsport Little League, and I know there's other people pan that, but that's our team, our all-star team would go to Williamsport if they were that good. And we did have one team that advanced very far. But this guy shaped me. So when I was 9 and I was playing with 12-year-olds, 11 and 10-year-olds, I was starting at second base. This guy made me a really good baseball player as a kid. So it is absolutely Mr. Pete. God rest his soul.
Gabe,
I'm going to have to go my coach, Coach Craig Donatelli. He was one of my first football coaches. It was probably about 8th grade. We were a fantastic team. Learned a lot of stuff that year. And then, I mean, it's sort of different,
Donatelli,
though.
yeah.
Donatelli, absolutely. But it's different when you go to the college level and do it. So I'm going to have to give a shout out to Coach Silverfield. I mean, he was he was fantastic to have as a coach. Taught a lot of lessons and just sort of made sure he was inserted into everyone's personal life to help them gain there as well.
Did Coach Donatelli have like the Italian accent and everything?
No, not at all. You would think. You would hope it would be better.
On National Noodle Day, it works out perfect.
It would be better.
Yeah,
it would be better if he did.
At the end of practice, instead of orange slices, they had a big thing of rigatoni. They just dove into the rigatoni after
I love
practice.
that. That's just a great name to be able to say. Yeah, Coach Donatelli. Get over. Come on. What you doing? What's going on? I can just see him yelling at officials and stuff. But if he doesn't have the Italian accent, it just doesn't work quite as well.
But again, salute to all the great coaches out there. Speaking of coaches, we had some pretty good coaches on the field last night, especially in that game in Kansas City, which featured Bill Belichick of the Patriots, arguably the best NFL coach in history, and Andy Reid, certainly one of the winningest coaches and considered one of the better coaches that has ever coached the game, of the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champions. So I'm watching the game, and I'm almost positive. I don't want to say I swear because my memory's not the greatest. Even when I hear something, I forget it quickly. But I believe Tony Romo said towards the end of the game, he said something like, "These are two of the best coaches that have ever coached," or something. He said something.
Two of the winningest coaches.
Yeah,
of all
he said
time,
two of the winning. He said He said to Jim, "I think these are two of the winningest coaches that."
Yeah.
Like come on, Tony. How do you not know that?
Well, Romo also he couldn't comprehend the little stat they put up.
Right.
In that this was the second most wins by two head coaches facing each other in a game in NFL history. Behind, I think it was Shula and Landry, wasn't it? Was number one, but by one win. Like Shula and Landry had one more win, and so Romo was like, "Oh, well, next week then." Like, and I'm like, "No, they'd have to face." Like, and Nance finally was like, "I'll explain it to you later." Like, Tony Romo could not figure that stat out. I was like, "What is not processing here?" because he's like, oh, well, it's broken tonight. He's like, no, it's what the wind's coming in to the game when they face each other. And he's like, oh, so next week it'll be. And he's like, well, no, they're not playing each other next week. Like, I don't understand why he had so much trouble understanding that stat.
Remember the Seinfeld, again, everything can be incorporated into a Seinfeld episode. Remember the Seinfeld episode with Dan Cortez? And he would tell George, step off, and then George brought the sandwiches to go rock climbing with him and Kramer. And Jerry said, he goes, he's a bimbo. No, he's a mimbo because he's a male bimbo. Tony Romo, he's intelligent as hell when it comes to knowing what's going to happen on the football field, but he kind of reminds me of a mimbo. He's a good-looking guy, well-spoken. Just it seems like he's not the brightest bulb out there. Well, but maybe I'm wrong.
That thing was just like, I was just like, and finally Nance was like, I'll explain it to you later. Like, he was just like, gave up. Like, I don't understand what you are not getting about this stat, but you're obviously never going to understand it.
But as far as the game is concerned, of course, the Chiefs win 26-10. That drops the Pats to 2-2. The Chiefs still unbeaten at 4-0. No Cam Newton, so they start the veteran Brian Hoyer. And Brian Hoyer, for a veteran who has been around that organization 3 different times now and have been around the league a long time, made some boneheaded plays. And I really came out of that game thinking if Cam Newton was the quarterback, they had a really good chance to win that game. And if Brian Hoyer didn't screw up the things and then yet another veteran making a horrible play later in the game, and Julian Edelman, pass right to him, he misses it, pops out of his hands, and it ends up going for a pick six for Kansas City by Tyrann Mathieu. So I think leaving that game after watching it, in my opinion, the Patriots are pretty good, and with Cam Newton, they had a chance to win that game, and Kansas City, while really good, is still vulnerable.
Well, I mean, Bill Belichick obviously is fantastic and can find a way to design stuff to slow down teams. And Kansas City certainly early in that game was not real sharp. Mahomes wasn't real sharp, missed some throws that he normally makes, and they didn't look their best. But, yeah, I mean, it was just the simple fact that New England with those quarterbacks just wasn't ever going to be able to do anything too much anyway offensively. I mean, that play at the end of the first half, like, how do you not know you don't have any timeouts left? Like, there's just, you cannot possibly take a sack in that situation. That is as bad a play as any quarterback could ever make. I mean, you absolutely just cost your team 3 points, and you just don't see a rookie quarterback in his first start make that mistake, let alone a guy who's been around forever now making that mistake.
Right, and Stidham's mistakes when he got in the game, one was not his fault. Again, Edelman had the ball, popped out of his hands, turned into a pick six. The other interception, certainly Kansas City is playing prevent defense, and he's trying to make a play. So that's understandable. But Hoyer, that's not. That's incomprehensible that a guy as experienced as him can make those boneheaded mistakes.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a tough situation for those guys because this wasn't your normal, injury situation where you knew all week Cam Newton wasn't going to play, so these guys were able to get ready. Like, this came awfully late in the week that all of a sudden, oh, wait, Cam Newton's not playing, and you're kind of thrown in there. So I understand this. They were put in a very difficult situation, Hoyer was, to start this game. But again, I mean, that play at the end of the first half, that has nothing to do with preparation. That's the as a quarterback in that situation. First, you got to know if you have a timeout or not. And two, if you don't have a timeout, you cannot take a sack. You have to throw that ball away and at least get the field goal attempt.
You very rarely see it in the NFL. You see it in college. You certainly see it in high school. You very rarely see it in the NFL. So the Pats, there's no way they're going to overcome the 4 turnovers, and they lose that game. Kansas City's won 13 straight, by the way. And certainly Patrick Mahomes did some really nice things because he's a really, really nice quarterback. But, again, I look at that game and go, maybe if Cam Newton was in there, New England could have won that game. There was that really bad call by the officials that I still don't know why Bill Belichick didn't challenge, but I think later he said that he couldn't challenge it. Oh, I thought he said that he believed he was down.
No, well, they ruled – see, the problem with that play is – they said, Nance said that they were calling it an incomplete pass when they went to the break. He's like, they're ruling that an incomplete pass, which is preposterous.
It never hit the ground.
It could either be a fumble or interception.
Right.
But what they actually called was in the grasp, and they blew the play dead, and that is not challengeable. So there's nothing Bill Belichick could do.
Okay.
And I don't.
Did you hear a whistle when they replayed it? I didn't.
Yeah, well, Belichick even said he heard an early. I think it was Belichick. One of them, or maybe it's Mahomes said afterwards that he had heard an early whistle, but I'm not that that's the way he did it. I don't. And Correnti, the official, said afterwards that he was being controlled, and in those situations, when the guy's being controlled and other players are bearing down on him, they protect the quarterbacks. I don't necessarily have a problem with that ruling in that situation because they did have him. I mean, he was going down, and there were other guys like that. They overly protect the quarterbacks anyway. But when they first said that they ruled it an incomplete pass, that was preposterous. Like, that was an impossibility because the ball never hit the ground. So which it ended up being, the ruling was that he was in the grasp and they blew the play dead. That one I can understand a heck of a lot more than anything else they would have ruled there.
I can understand that more. I can understand that they're protecting the quarterback, but it is Patrick Mahomes. He's gotten out of bigger messes, and he was still active trying to make a play. So I still think
he wasn't active. I mean, he was.
No, he was trying. He was
going to the ground.
No, he was trying to throw the ball.
I know, but he was in the grasp and going to the ground.
But he was trying to still make a play. Was my point. And so, whether or not you believe they called it, they called the play dead at the right time, that's your prerogative. And I tend to think they probably did. Now going back and looking at it, but I still think that could have went the Patriots' way. And then they could have made the play at the end of the first half. And they could have went into the locker room with the lead. And maybe things are different. But Kansas City survives. They stay undefeated. We'll talk about the Green Bay win over Atlanta and another great performance by Aaron Rodgers a little bit later on in the hour when we get to our NFL 3 stars. And also the firing of Texans head coach / general manager Bill O'Brien after the Texans 0-4 start. Do want to tell you about Town Village Audubon Park, which is senior living in today's world, offering more options to fit your needs or a loved one's needs more than ever before, dedicated to the long-term satisfaction and the quality of life for the residents. All they ask is that you're 55 or over. You can call them for more information at 901-537-0002 or go online to townvillageaudubonpark.com, located just off Park Avenue at Cherry Road. It's 950 Cherry Road in the heart of East Memphis. They offer independent living, short-term respite stay available. Monthly options are available as well. Great event schedule with activities galore, amazing food, everything you need to continue to enjoy life to its fullest. We've done a number of remotes over there, and the residents love it. They come by, they talk to us, and they've been on the air with us just talking about how much they love being a part of Town Village Audubon Park. So if you have a loved one that you've been thinking about as far as their golden years or maybe even your golden years down the road, think Town Village Audubon Park, senior living in today's world. 950 Cherry Road just off Park, 901-537-0002 or online at townvillageaudubonpark.com. When we come back, we shift gears, talk some college football with our friend Connor O'Gara. This is Sports 56 Middays.
Memphis Tiger fans, catch the Blue and Gray Show with John Stacy and Drew Barrett, Sunday nights from 5 till 7, right here on Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage. Factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you are treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
Hey folks, I'm Jarrett Carter. My family recently purchased East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station, and we're excited to offer the best selection of Big Green Egg and Traeger grills. And then don't forget about our Benjamin Moore Paint Studio and the Garden Center for flowers. Save 60% with our new Duracell key fob replacement program. We have a master locksmith service as well as glass cutting and screen repair. East Memphis Ace Hardware, located at Quince and White Station behind Three Little Pigs.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Do you have any idea why I never speak the way I am right now? It's because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you do not need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get a customer's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or buy their products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. Fiveash Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service possible and do it at a fair price, why would I need gimmicks to sell it? Best products, best warranties, and best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM. As well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Google or Alexa to play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned to real sports talk. Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to learn how FedEx helps small businesses grow every day. This hour is also brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
2 weeks into the SEC college football season, 4 unbeatens remain and only 1 from the West with Alabama 2-0. The other 6 teams all 1-1, so very interesting stuff through the first 2 weeks of the SEC season. And here to talk a little SEC and college football in general is our friend Connor O'Gara.
It's time to talk some SEC and college football on Sports 56 Middays. Joining Greg and Eli is Connor O'Gara from SaturdayDownSouth.com. Now, here's Connor with Greg and Eli.
Connor is the senior national columnist for Saturday Down South and Saturday Tradition. You can follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. You can catch him every Tuesday right here on Middays during the college football season. What's up, Connor?
Well, I'm doing well. You know, it feels like after the weekend that was, 8 AP top 25 teams going down, it feels like this year is just going to be a little bit all over the place. And it kind of makes me feel like we should just expect the unexpected at this point, and that makes me excited for this Saturday.
I always love chaos. I love a little turmoil in my football, not in my life, but I think we got that early on. The Big 12 is certainly off to a horrible start. One team, though, that is off to the start we expected them to be, and I'm not so sure if we're going to see much turmoil in the Alabama Crimson Tide. I thought they looked terrific in manhandling Texas A&M. I want to read this to you real quick. This is from Christopher Smith, used to be with Saturday Down South, and he tweeted this out, a story about Mac Jones. And he put up these numbers, and I'm not sure if you've seen this, Connor, if you follow Christopher and Eli, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but he said Player A, 1,540 yards, 21 touchdowns, 3 picks, 68.3%, 9.6 yards per pass, per reception. Player B, 1,856 yards, 19 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 72.5%, 12.5 yards. Player A happens to be Mac Jones. The numbers are very comparable to Tua in their first 6 starts at Alabama. Is it a system thing, or what are we looking at with Mac Jones?
Well, I don't want to take away from Steve Sarkisian because I thought what he did last year was so underrated, and the fact that Alabama's offense actually got better, and nobody shut down Alabama's offense last year, even when Tua went down. I thought that was sort of an overlooked storyline, and he deserved more love for the Broyles Award. There's a reason why he was getting Power 5 head coaching interest after last season. But there's a dirty little secret, and it's Mac Jones is a really good football player. I mean, I loved what we saw from him down the stretch, and I referenced it over the summer a lot when saying, yeah, I think he's going to be the guy and he's going to be able to hold off Bryce Young. And it's the fact that, like, you saw him against consecutive top 25 defenses away from home perform really, really well at the end of last year against Auburn and against Michigan. And people remember the 2 pick sixes in the Iron Bowl. But, you know, reality is Mac Jones is making really good decisions. And the fact is, yeah, he's got a lot of talent around him. There's no doubt. Everybody would love to throw to a Jalen Waddle. And the fact that now he has a third guy in John Mechie just pretty much seems unfair. But Mac Jones has been extraordinarily efficient. Right now, he's first in the country in quarterback rating. Like, that's how good of a start this has been for him. And against a Mike Elko defense that I've talked up a lot. I mean, Mike Elko is one of the highest paid defensive coordinators in the country for a reason. That's a really good defensive line. And if you see the way that he navigates pressure and deals with downfield targets and going through his progressions, this is someone who looks very much like one of the better quarterbacks in the country. So everybody that was ready to turn the page to Bryce Young and ready for the next big quarterback thing at Alabama, they're overlooking Mac Jones because he's been exceptionally good for this Alabama team so far and very much looks like a guy that they can build around.
There's no doubt. I mean, he's certainly very good. Your thing about whether it is a system, Greg, well, to me, it's what Connor just said. I mean, when you're constantly throwing to probably 3 first-round draft picks, like that's, I don't care who the quarterback is. I mean, they just keep coming at the receiver position through Alabama. I mean, last year you had Judy and Ruggs. They go. Now it's Smith and Waddle, and Mechie comes in there as the third guy. Like, they're constantly throwing to 2 or 3 receivers who are all-American first-round level guys.
But that's why I bring that up, because we've seen quarterbacks in the past at Alabama put up the huge numbers, and they didn't do anything in the NFL. McCarron, McElroy. So why do we assume Tua is going to be some stud in the NFL, and as high as he went, the expectations, obviously, by the Dolphins are he will be? That's why I'm asking that. Is Tua maybe not as good because he's in that great system with all those great receivers and offensive playmakers, or is it Mac Jones is another great quarterback, but will he be an NFL caliber quarterback? Do you know what I'm saying here?
Yeah. I don't know necessarily about Mac Jones at the NFL level because, yeah, I mean, the system is definitely part of it. I think what separated Tua was you saw in 2018, and it really sets in when you see him in person. I was fortunate enough to be able to do that a handful of times. You saw the deep ball prowess with him in his first season as a starter and how special it was, the touch that he could put on a deep pass. And then, you know, last year, what you saw from him in Steve Sarkisian's system was an ability to understand when that slant could lead to a big-time play and the ability to not force the home run play. And he became a much more complete quarterback. And I think Mac Jones has gone through his progressions really, really well. It's not as simple as, oh, he's just getting screens that he's throwing to Jalen Waddle, and Jalen Waddle's taking it 60 yards. He's stepping into throws and making big-time plays downfield. It helps when your receivers are getting a little bit of separation, but he's got confidence. I don't know if you see the way that he kind of moves around, but he throws that long touchdown pass to Mechie. He's got a little bit of swagger to him, and he's got so much trust in that locker room right now that, yeah, maybe part of it is the system propping him up, and I'm not sure how good of an NFL quarterback he's going to be. But in terms of a college quarterback, man, like, don't underestimate what he's doing because it's not easy, and teams are ready for this Alabama passing attack, and he continues to exceed expectations.
So, Connor, if you had to rank after 2 weeks now your top 5 SEC quarterbacks, what order would you put him in?
Man, I'd probably put him, and it's tough. I think there are 4 right now who are playing exceptionally well. I'd put him ahead of KJ Costello. I would, just because I think what we saw last week was a bit frustrating. But don't underestimate what Matt Corral is doing in Lane Kiffin's offense. That has been extraordinary. I mean, he's 3rd in the country quarterback rating right now and just had consecutive 300 passing yard days against defenses that we thought coming into the year were going to be really good, Florida and Kentucky. Matt Corral has been awesome. I would probably put Matt Corral maybe a spot behind Mac Jones. Number one has been Kyle Trask. So I'd put probably Trask at 1, Mac Jones at 2, and then Matt Corral at 3. I think what Kyle Trask has done is just been so fun to watch, and the touch that he puts on the football. I mean, that guy is taking the next step that many thought he could after being inserted into the starting lineup last year. But SEC quarterback play has been phenomenal so far. I mean, surprisingly good, I think, to start off this season.
And it's interesting because, before the year, we all would have, most people put Trask up there, but then Kellen Mond, it's always waiting for Kellen Mond to be the guy that we thought he was. I mean, is Kellen Mond just not what we thought he was?
It's frustrating because when he first had that debut with Jimbo back in 2018, I was like, whoa, this is way different. And he has made those steps in the offseason. Since that moment, which was now over 2 years ago, has he really progressed that much? I'd say no. And I'd say part of that is an indictment on Jimbo Fisher as an offensive mind. Mm-hmm. And, there are certain things about Kellen Mond that he can do in a given game where you're just like, man, that guy has so many different ways to beat you. Like, how many guys in the SEC can run 50 yards away from Alabama's defense and then 2 plays later drop one in a bucket 45 yards downfield on the sideline? The list is not very long of guys who can do that. The arm's exceptional, and the tools are there. But in terms of the consistency, you just don't see it. Don't see him elevating his receivers and putting them in spots where they can really have the yards after the catch and all that. So it's been frustrating, but I think it's got to be an indictment on Jimbo Fisher. I mean, in true road games, since Jimbo Fisher has come to College Station, they're 2-7. Like, that's it. And yeah, they beat up against some of the lower competition, but man, where's the progression? I'm losing faith in Jimbo Fisher by the week, and I kind of think at this point, until he's willing to turn his offense over to a different sort of offensive mind, I think that A&M ceiling is really not that high, especially in that division.
Connor O'Gara joining us, senior national columnist, Saturday Down South, Saturday Tradition. You can follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. Let's talk about some of the games coming up this week, but first let me ask you about the possibility of the LSU-Mizzou game being moved to Columbia. I read about that this morning because of this hurricane that's churning in the Gulf. Yeah,
it's looking like they're going to continue to monitor that, and I saw the reports that they're going to have a decision made on that by Thursday. The good news is that, in a year like this where everybody's really been forced to be flexible about, COVID-related things and so many things have just been sort of in flux, it seems like they would be able to pivot to that in a year like this. And in a year where you're having reduced capacity crowds, LSU, I think, would be more likely and more willing to do something like that as opposed to essentially giving up a home game, right? I mean, I think it's different in a year like that. So hopefully they're able to figure out a solution to make it work. But I saw the SEC has already said, yeah, we're monitoring this situation. And usually they don't come out publicly like that this early in the week unless they have some sort of plan to be able to do that. So I would have to think that they'd be willing to make that adjustment if necessary. But I don't know if we're necessarily going to get a cancellation unless all of a sudden they have plans to play and then things pick up and it's much worse and they can't make that change by Friday or something like that. But I think they want to have everything figured out by early on Thursday so that these teams can adjust. All right, you mentioned Matt Corral, one of the great stories so far early in the SEC season, what Lane Kiffin and him have done after what I thought last year was just disappointment after disappointment until John Rice Plumlee took over. And I didn't know that we would see this type of Matt Corral, although he was the stud coming out of high school. So as you said, he's already lit up 2 really good defenses in Kentucky and Florida. Now he's got Alabama. Alabama, Ole Miss, in Oxford on Saturday. What can he do against the Tide's defense? Well, it's going to be difficult, but, I think Matt Corral is going to have a lot of success. I think we're going to see Lane, against his former team, of course, against Saban. He's going to empty the bag of tricks. And that's the fun thing about this Ole Miss offense and what's different about them last year, a couple of years before when they had those struggles against Alabama is that they can beat you in a lot of different ways from an offensive standpoint. They can stretch the field. They can use John Rice Plumlee in there to get the running game going. They could beat you on the outside. They have guys like Elijah Moore who just make catches all over the field, and it doesn't really matter what matchup they have. And that's the fun thing that you look at for a matchup like this, because the Alabama defense, I thought, had its moment against A&M where it struggled. Now, that's the type of game where Saban is going to look at some of the sloppy plays, like Aeneas Smith getting pushed out of bounds, but not really getting pushed out of bounds. And he's going to be really hard on that defense in the film room. So that's kind of the one question I have. And that has to mean a little bit more to Saban, whether he wants to admit it or not, going against Lane Kiffin like this. But I think Matt Corral's going to be able to have some success because the guy has shown he's got a really good sense of awareness. He's way more mobile than we were giving him credit for probably coming into this year. And he sort of has just been, the perfect embodiment of what we think of a Lane Kiffin quarterback. Kid is just tough, and he continues to go out there. I mean, this is his third different offense in 3 years. And we've seen quarterbacks like Jared Garantano struggle in situations like that. And meanwhile, he looks like he is at home and he is thriving in a different sort of way. And you know what? The fun thing about Ole Miss, too, is that they know their defense is terrible. That offense knows it. They really do. So it doesn't really faze them if they fall behind 3 touchdowns in a game like this. I think Matt Corral is going to be able to put up some numbers against what we expect to be a really good Alabama defense.
All right, so if I gave you some money, if I give you $1,000, I said you either have to bet it on Ole Miss plus 24 or Tennessee plus 14, which one would you bet?
Oh, that's a great question. That's a really good question. I take 24. I take 24, and there's a little piece in the back of my mind where I'm like, hey, 2009. I'm thinking about Lane in Tennessee. Going and based in Alabama, and that 12-10 game, of course, and we're talking about the famous field goal block with Terrence Cody. There's a little piece in the back of my mind that just keeps going back to that says that Lane's going to find a way to keep it close. Tennessee could keep it close against Georgia, but the one thing I worry about, and while I do think it's going to have a much different feel than recent memory against Georgia for Tennessee, I think Tennessee is a little too similar to Georgia to beat Georgia. Tennessee's strengths are what Georgia does well, and that's what Jeremy Pruitt really envisioned for this program when he took it over, and we're starting to see that come to fruition. But I wonder if, defensively, some of the things that they like to be able to do, they're going to kind of struggle with, and they're going to be on their heels against this really good Georgia offensive line. And now that Stetson Bennett is a little bit more comfortable, I think that we could see Georgia have a good amount of success. And I worry about Jared Garantano against that Georgia front. Man, you saw what Bo Nix did last week. It was awful. I mean, they could not get anything going in the passing game, and he was running for his life. I fear that Jared Garantano is going to be in a similar spot, even though that offensive line has improved. Pass protection still could potentially be an issue on Saturday. So I guess I would take Ole Miss in 24, but I do think it'll be a little bit different for Tennessee than what we're used to seeing.
One thing I will say for sure, now they may keep it close, it will not be 12-10 this time between Lane Kiffin and Nick Saban. Well, it'll be they'll surpass that probably in the first 5 minutes of that game.
Yeah. The better question is, if there is any relationship from the past with Saban and Kiffin? I mean, if they're on good terms, then they will probably stay within the number. If they are not, I don't know. I don't think this is going to be up to Kiffin. This is going to be up to Saban and his relationship with Kiffin.
You don't think that Saban would want to keep the foot on the gas if he had that opportunity?
There's no doubt.
That's what I'm thinking. That's why I don't know even, and I'm excited about Ole Miss. I picked them the first 2 games, got it right against Kentucky and wrong the first time.
But I don't know if coaches want this one more than any other game on their schedule this year.
I don't know if they're going to be able. I think that offense, which has been fun, might be halted on Saturday against Alabama. But we'll make our picks on Thursday on the show. But Connor, listen, as always, we appreciate it. Make sure you read everything that Connor's writing about the SEC and college football overall at Saturday Down South and Saturday Tradition, and, of course, a great follow on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. You can catch him every Tuesday right here on Sports 56 Middays during the college football season. Have a great week. Enjoy the games. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Yep, appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Connor.
This hour of the program brought to you by Action247.com. New games each and every week. Free games right now that you can play to win real cash, like $1,000 in their weekly NFL jackpot. They got $1,000 Game of the Week contest up there. So they got a parlay of NFL, college football, UFC involved in that as well. They got their Tennessee treble play with the Vols Titans and Nashville Soccer Club as well in that one. They've got the $100 SEC. Do they even play football up north accumulator with all the SEC games? These are free to play, and you can win real cash. And again, it's not going to be too much longer before betting is legalized here in the state of Tennessee. Or actually, it's already been legalized. They just got to get all the licenses and all that good to go, and everybody up and running. And that's going to be happening very, very soon. So get signed up today. Action, the number's 247, action247.com, bringing you the first hour of Sports 56 Middays.
All right, we'll get back to the NFL when we return. Don't forget Humdinger's Trivia comes your way just after 11 o'clock, and then we'll talk some baseball playoffs with Scott Miller to open up hour number 2. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and now 98.5 FM.
Want to get your voice heard? Hit us up on the First Bank phone line or First Bank text line.
Great news, sports fans. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse is now open for dine-in service. Make a reservation and enjoy a mouth-watering steak dinner. Or, if you prefer, take it curbside. In addition to their fantastic steaks, the Butcher Shop Steakhouse has a variety of entrees, including Canadian lobster tail, crab-stuffed shrimp, pan-seared red snapper, and fresh ground steak burger with portobello mushroom sauce. Planning to cook out? The Butcher Shop Steakhouse offers a great selection of fresh Angus beef, hand-cut steaks and burgers, lamb chops, Atlantic salmon, and more. Make your reservation for dine-in or pre-order for curbside pickup. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse. Dine-in, curbside, and delivery. Plus, enjoy the sizzle of top-quality Butcher Shop steaks on your own grill. Call us at 757-4244 and visit our website, thebutchershop.com, for menus and more. The Butcher Shop Steakhouse, Walnut Grove and Germantown Parkway.
I'm here with the outstanding team from Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway. They're online at lexusofmemphis.com. Gary, tell everyone how they can experience the Lexus of Memphis satisfaction.
Come in and be a part of our family at Lexus of Memphis. Experience the customer service that we provide to each guest like a member of our own family. If you're on the side of the road and you need us, we're there. If you need help with anything with your car, technology, Bluetooth, the app suite, we have a dedicated team to help you with this in your journey with your Lexus.
That's how they do it at Lexus of Memphis.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
Hi. Guess we should talk about something. How's the, vermicelli game in your town? Got any good Vietnamese restaurants? Vermicelli? Oh, it's a noodle. Very good. Drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hey folks, I'm Jarrett Carter. My family recently purchased East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station, and we're excited to offer the best selection of Big Green Egg and Traeger grills. And then don't forget about our Benjamin Moore Paint Studio and the Garden Center for flowers. Save 60% with our new Duracell key fob replacement program. We have a master locksmith service as well as glass cutting and screen repair. East Memphis Ace Hardware, located at Quince and White Station behind Three Little Pigs.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM. As well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Google or Alexa to play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to learn how FedEx helps small businesses grow every day. This hour is also brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 10:50 the time. Final segment here in hour number 1. Let's get back to the NFL. We got our NFL 3-stars coming up in just a moment. We talked about the Chiefs and Patriots game from last night earlier. The Packers won the regularly scheduled Monday night game 30-16 over the Falcons, who fall to 0-4. At least they didn't blow a big lead, right, Eli?
Yeah, they didn't have to worry about that last night. They took care of that one without a problem.
Aaron Rodgers was terrific again, and I learned something last night watching a little bit of that game. I learned who Robert Tonyan was. 3 touchdown catches. I hadn't heard of the guy. I don't play fantasy football.
But he's been really good for them so far this year.
Yeah, where's he from? What school?
I don't even know where he played college football.
That's the first I heard that name associated with the National Football League. Robert Tonyan with 3 touchdown catches and Green Bay wins.
Indiana State. He was a Sycamore.
Wow. Indiana State FCS. Right? Indiana State's FCS. And a lot of those players have gone on to play in the National Football League, one of them being Robert Tonyan.
Also, he had 2 career touchdowns coming into this season. He's got 5 already this year.
So he's not even a rookie. So he's been in the league. I've never heard of the guy. All right, Bill O'Brien's been in the league for a while. He went from Penn State to the Texans, and now in his 7th year, he has been fired after 4 games. 0-4 this year. He has 4 division titles to his credit, but as the general manager, not so good. And the fallout of the DeAndre Hopkins trade continues with that firing yesterday. Romeo Crennel, former head coach in the NFL, will take over on an interim basis.
Yeah, this is Bill O'Brien, the GM, got Bill O'Brien, the coach, fired. I mean, the moves that he has made since he was given control of the football operations have not worked out real well. They won those division championships and all that stuff, but they're off to the 0-4 start. They do not have a first or second round pick this year or next year in the draft. So they're not, and they got Deshaun Watson's big contract about to kick in when you need to find young talent, and they don't have draft picks to find that young talent. So they are in a bad situation going forward.
They drafted well on the defensive side, and I think that helped them win those division titles, but they didn't advance to the Super Bowl. They never got that far once they got to the postseason. And then this year, the trade that still boggles everyone's mind, the trade of DeAndre Hopkins, just crushed Deshaun Watson, his main weapon. And we have seen the problems so far rear its ugly head with the offense not having that go-to guy. Will Fuller's back, and he's a good little player. And David Johnson now seems to be healthy. Not the Arizona David Johnson, but at least he's healthy. And yet DeAndre Hopkins is a stud who's doing his thing for Arizona. That was a boneheaded trade, in my opinion. And again, he made that trade.
Yeah, I mean, it's that one. I get it. You didn't want to have to pay DeAndre Hopkins, but even if you were going to trade DeAndre Hopkins, they just could have gotten a lot more for him. I mean, again, that's the thing with that trade. If you said, all right, well, it's not going to work out, we're not going to be able to re-sign him, we want to get something for him, I don't understand why David Johnson was the thing to get for DeAndre Hopkins.
He had a comment yesterday when he talked to reporters after getting axed, and he said, "Oh, we may not have done enough. We just didn't do enough."
You think?
From where I sit, though, I mean, did he do too much this year? I mean, because his roster was already built to win to a certain extent. Getting rid of DeAndre Hopkins was extra. Going to sign Laramie Tunsil for big money was extra. Those were things you didn't really need to do.
It's a fair point.
I mean, that's the thing. Bill O'Brien, the GM, I still think Bill O'Brien's a good coach.
I think
Bill O'Brien is a bad GM.
I agree. All right, let's get to our NFL 3 stars from week number 4. Maestro, please. All right, I'll start it off, and then we'll go Gabe and Eli. The old man, Tom Brady, one of my stars. The 43-year-old quarterback went 30 of 46 for 369 yards and 5 touchdowns. He led the Bucs to the game-winning drive in the fourth quarter, the 46th time he's done that in his career in regulation or overtime, and the Patriots rallied to beat the Chargers.
Instead of calling him Tom Brady, can we just call him the 43-year-old quarterback from now on this show?
That's fine. Old man quarterback as opposed to old man River. My second star goes to OBJ. Odell Beckham Jr. has been quiet since his arrival in Cleveland, to be honest with you. But he wasn't quiet on Sunday. 5 catches, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 rushes, 73 yards, another touchdown. Cleveland in Big D beat the Cowboys 49-38. And then my third star, and I could have went Aaron Rodgers from last night, but I'm going Joe Mixon. And Joe Mixon not only had a big game for Cincinnati in a win, Joe Burrow's first as their quarterback, but he was in the hospital for goodness sakes on Saturday. He had chest pains. He was in the hospital being observed. He comes back Sunday, rushes the ball 25 times for 151 yards, 2 touchdowns, has 6 catches for 30 yards and another touchdown as Cincinnati beats the Jacksonville Jaguars 33-25.
Greg.
What?
Am I going second here?
Yes.
Clean sweep. I mean, I literally all 3.
Are you serious?
We are 3 for 3. Joe Mixon, I went because he was questionable going into the day and had one of his best games as a pro, 25 attempts, 151 yards, 2 TDs rushing, and then added a TD receiving on 30 yards. And he was a guy that they didn't even know was going to play going into the day, so I had to give a shout-out. And also, whenever the Bengals get a win and then somebody has a standout performance, you gotta throw it their way. I went Odell Beckham Jr., like you said, hasn't been.
I thought you were going to say whenever the Bengals get a win, an angel gets its wings.
That too. But Odell Beckham Jr. In the win over the Cowboys, they scored 49 points, the Browns. 73 yards rushing, a lot of it on that last TD he got. 81 yards receiving. He had 3 total TDs. And just to be honest, whenever he's a guy who gets into the open field and they get him the ball, he is just really exciting to watch. I mean, just truly, he's very shifty, very fast, very explosive, and fun to watch altogether. And then Tom Brady, got to give a shout-out, 5 TDs, 1 interception, 370 yards in the win over the Chargers. And it was in comeback fashion. They got down in a hole early, and he came back on the rookie Justin Herbert and sort of showed him who was boss in that one.
All right, Eli?
Well, I certainly agree with OBJ. Hard to leave him off that list with because again, he hasn't done a whole lot in Cleveland since he's gotten there. But he did a lot against a terrible Cowboys defense with the 3 total touchdowns in that game and the big offensive performance by them. I since you guys both went with Joe Mixon, I'll leave Mixon off. I'll go Dalvin Cook. Cook, 27 carries, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. He got a coach fired.
He did.
He got a coach fired. So if you get a coach fired, it had to be a good performance. And then I have to give to Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers there was all the talk after the drafting of Jordan Love of what the situation was going to be, how mad Aaron Rodgers was. Well, if he is mad, he is taking it out on the teams he is playing so far this year. Last night, 27 of 33, 327, and 4 touchdowns. For the year now, completing 70% of his passes, 1,214 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions for him. And he's been without Devontae Adams for a couple of games. Last night, Alan Lazard out too. So basically his 2 top receivers were out last night. He's turning Robert Tonyan into a household name. Aaron Rodgers is playing maybe as good as he ever has. And, they were wondering, people thought that maybe him and Matt LaFleur weren't getting along, wasn't going to work out. Well, so far this year, it is working out beautifully as they are putting up big numbers every week.
All right, so would we agree on Wilson right now, top for the MVP through a quarter of the season, right? We're in agreement on that. And then Rodgers second?
I think
you could make the case for Rodgers first.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I still think it's Russell Wilson by a smidge over Aaron Rodgers.
I just think the conversations last year of Aaron Rodgers' demise were
greatly exaggerated.
True.
Very exaggerated.
But we're going to get to another point where Russell Wilson doesn't get MVP votes. I mean, come on, man, every year. But no, I think Rodgers certainly is right in that mix. I know we're only a quarter away through the season. Obviously, Josh Allen and what he's doing with Buffalo, you can't count out Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City. There are some really good candidates, strong candidates. And heck, when it's all said and done with Tampa Bay and Tom Brady, you just never know. All right, we'll take a timeout. When we come back, we got our Humdingers trivia. Your chance to win a $25 gift card to one of the top restaurants in Memphis. If you want to eat healthy, you eat at Humdingers. And then we'll be talking some baseball. The playoffs continue. The divisional series in the American League started yesterday. Today we'll get the full slate with 2 games in the NLDS, 2 games in the ALDS. We'll talk with Scott Miller about that. Then Jeff Crane from the University of Memphis at around 11:25. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 98.5 FM.
What's your emergency?
This
SUV. It was going across. It went around the barrier and the train. Oh God.
Ma'am, did a train hit an SUV? Is that what happened?
Yes, the train is still going. The train is going, and the car. I can't believe it.
You can't judge the speed of an approaching train. That's why the signals are there. Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by NHTSA.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Pro Extra is the Home Depot's free loyalty program built for pros. Members earn perks just for shopping, like new Pro Extra dollars or tool rental perks. Get exclusive benefits every day that save time and money. And here's an extra, $20 off your next in-store purchase of $200 or more, just for signing up. Want to save? Join Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Visit the Pro Desk in-store at homedepot.com/proextra for details.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We have all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, there are aerial pictures that are taken every 4 years that can be used to measure a building, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof or even if you need one by using pictures that might be 4 years old. If you would rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, please give me a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best customer service we know how to provide. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, WPGFLP Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how to turn browsers into buyers. Learn how FedEx can help take your business to the next level. This hour is also brought to you by the Window Genie. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody, on this sensational Tuesday. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Gabe Kuhn. The weather outstanding. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Second hour of the program is brought to you by the Window Genie. The Window Genie, you can call Kate Robertson at 901-424-4100. The Window Genie, a trusted name in window cleaning, but they do so much more. Coming up in just a few moments, we'll talk baseball playoffs with Scott Miller, but we got to hand out a prize right now.
That's right. It's time for Humdinger's Trivia. It's your opportunity to win a $25 gift certificate to Humdinger's, which you can take on over to Poplar and Massey, where Humdinger's is located. Enjoy. Today, you could get a lot of tacos because it's Taco Tuesday. That means $2 for the fish and chicken tacos. But so many other great things to choose from on the menu with all the grilled fish options. Don't forget about the Humdinger shrimp, which are delicious. You can just get the full order of the shrimp, or maybe you get one of those grilled fish options. You can throw on a skewer of grilled shrimp to your order as well. Crispy fish and chips, chicken options, salads. They've got the tacos. They've got sandwiches. So many great things to choose from. Very inexpensive and a lot of healthy items on that menu over there at Humdinger's for you to choose from. The first person to get the answer correct to today's trivia question will get a $25 gift certificate to Humdinger's. All you got to do is text in your answer to 67129, the First Bank text line, 67129, the First Bank text line, and the first right answer will get that $25 gift certificate to Humdinger's. Here is today's question. With the firing of Bill O'Brien as the head coach and GM of the Houston Texans after an 0-4 start, now we may see some other firings here in the very near future. Dan Quinn and Adam Gase and Matt Patricia, I think, are hanging on by threads at this point in time. But Bill O'Brien becomes the first coach fired in the NFL this year. Which NFL head coaches were fired during the season last year? Which coaches were fired in season last year in the NFL? Text in 67129 on the First Bank text line with your answers. First correct answer gets the $25 gift certificate to Humdinger's.
The American League Divisional Series got underway yesterday. Will continue today with Games 2 between Houston and Oakland, Tampa Bay, and the New York Yankees. It's also the opening day for the National League Divisional Series. We'll have Game 1s between San Diego, Los Angeles. That's the Dodgers, of course, and Miami and Atlanta. Games all being played in the bubbles. They are in Houston and Arlington and San Diego and Los Angeles. It's a strange setup, but it is what it is. And they are underway yesterday. A couple of lopsided victories for both the Yankees and the Astros. And here to talk a little Major League Baseball, our friend Scott Miller, National Major League Baseball columnist for the Bleacher Report and Turner Sports. You can hear him on Sirius XM Major League Baseball Radio as a terrific analyst. And you can follow him on Twitter at Scott Miller BBL. He joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. Hey, Scott, how are you today?
Hey, guys, good. How about yourself?
Doing great. So yesterday, as I said, as you know, the ALDS begins. I guess you could throw out the regular season records because the Astros were dominated by the A's and the Yankees were clobbered by the Rays. And that wasn't the case yesterday, as both Oakland lost and Tampa Bay lost. The Yankees, Scott, they just seem to be getting healthy at the right time.
Yeah, that's a lot of it. Aaron Judge missed a good portion of the season. Giancarlo Stanton missed a good portion of the season. Gio Urshela was out. But they've got all those guys back right now. Big question, and the big question is going to be, can they stay on the field? But as long as they do, that lineup 1 through 9 is fearsome. I mean, they got home runs last night from their numbers 8 and number 9 hitters.
Jeez.
They look like world beaters last night. So we'll see if they put it back together. In Game 2, they've got a young 21-year-old rookie, Davy Garcia, starting against, Tampa Bay's got a really good starter, Tyler Glasnow. And I'd say it's pretty much must win for Tampa Bay tonight because obviously if they don't, they'll be down 0-2, just one loss from elimination, and they'll be down 0-2 after Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow started, which would not be a good, indicator for the Rays.
I asked this question yesterday, Scott. I want to get your thoughts. Do you think in this series we will see a bench clearing incident?
It's a good question. They don't like each other. We've seen incidents this year before, and they don't like each other is an understatement. I think that the two things to keep an eye on tonight, I think a couple things. I say two things to keep an eye on. One, after Stanton's grand slam last night, the Rays, the next batter was Urshela, and they went up and in on him, and he had to duck out of the way. So it was pretty clear after the grand slam, that there was a message. And then also, when the Yankees had that after the grand slam, they had 9-3 lead, and they had a fella steal second base. And I'm sure that was noted by the Rays. So, I think a couple things. The Rays, they've got to be smart about it. If they're angry about either of those incidents from last night, the playoffs are different because you can't risk, say throwing at somebody for a couple of reasons. One, you can't risk your pitchers getting suspended. Two, you can't just give the opponent a free base runner or two if it's going to be a nail-biting one-run game, because you could fool around and win the battle if you drill somebody, but lose the war if that guy scores and ends up being the winning run. So, I think if we see anything between these two teams, it'll only be in a game that's gotten a little bit out of control, like somebody takes a 5-run lead, like last night, 9-3. If we'd be a little deeper in the series and there was a little bit more bad blood going, in this series, that would be the case if we see it, when we will see it.
So the series between the Yankees and Tampa is being played in San Diego. You're all familiar with that area. And the Oakland-Houston series is in Los Angeles. The other two are in Texas. So as I described, kind of a bubble. I don't know if it's completely a bubble. I don't know what the rules and regulations are for the players. So are they just hotel to the stadium, back to the hotel? Are they allowed to go out in the city that they're in? How is it a bubble other than the fact they're playing 5 games in just the one stadium? If it goes
right. Down? It's pretty close to a bubble. It's the only way it's not a true bubble is I could be mistaken, but I think isn't the NBA set up in Florida? They're staying on basically isn't they're all on the Disney campus, so to speak.
Right.
So the hotel, the courts, arena where they play, everything's kind of in that area. Whereas, the only way this isn't a bubble in the postseason is, like, for example, the Yankees and Rays, the resort they're staying at is about 30 miles north of San Diego, in Petco Park. So they've still got to get on a bus and take that bus down to the stadium. So their bubble, so to speak, I don't know if it's a true bubble in that regard, because, the ballpark, at least for the Rays and Yankees, is about 30 miles from where they're staying.
Right.
However, where the bubble comes into effect, the players, no, they're not allowed to leave the resort property, the hotel. They have to stay there. They cannot go out on the town, out to dinner. I mean, their meals have to be eaten on that property or at the ballpark if they're served anything at the ballpark. And, they're not allowed even to see family, for example, unless family members, quarantine for 14 days and then go into the bubble with the players. And then they could do that, obviously quarantine 14 days and then test negative for COVID. But then the family members, same thing. If they get into that bubble in the hotel, they're not allowed to leave or go out to dinner or do any, go into Starbucks or anything else.
Scott, were you at the game? What is the media situation?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was at. It's funny. I've not been to many stadiums. I've before the playoffs, I'd only been to one game all year. In fact, that was the only time I've been in a major league facility since March when spring training shut down, because the media. We're not. We go to the press box and we stay there. We're not allowed. They keep the players way off limits to everybody. Again, you understand that this year because of the pandemic. But it was weird at Petco last night. I don't know why they didn't use the press box. I think it's because there might have been. It's not like it's a media overrun by media, because a lot of people are still not traveling. I mean, there were, I don't know, 8 to 10 New York writers that covered the Yankees in town, but there also were a handful of New York writers that were still back in New York and just working from home because, again, it's all Zoom calls.
Yeah.
But that said, I think maybe there were too many media members of the press box. But anyway, they had tables in the upper deck at Petco. So we were up high, and it's weird. It's the game looks a lot different when you're inside the stadium and you got 40,000 empty seats. I do think, basically, we'll call it for what it is. I think people that love baseball and love sports, all of us, people like you guys and me, it's like, on one hand, thank God that the games have returned to the field because it's a nice diversion. It's a couple hours where you can escape the horrors of what's going on in the world right now on many levels. But that said, what it is, calling it for what it is it's a made-for-TV production this year is what baseball is, and I assume other sports as well. I mean, it's kind of like, you used to watch those sitcoms, Happy Days and stuff like that back in the 70s and 80s, and it'd say, at the end of the show, remember, this was recorded before a live audience.
Live studio
on
audience.
A sound stage. Yeah, and the only thing, it's not a live audience, but it's kind of like the fields in stadiums are doubling as the Hollywood sound stages.
Right.
In person, for example, the crowd noise sounds weird. On TV, I think it sounds pretty good. Like, there have been many times this year I've walked into a room in my house and I've had a game on. Maybe I've left the room and I've come back, and as I come back, you might be looking down, you hear the crowd noise, you look up like, oh, what's going on? Yeah. And then you realize, oh, yeah, it's that canned crowd noise. Whereas in the ballpark, it's just like a low murmur off in the distance. Like in Petco Park, most of it sounds like it's coming from right field. It's not, in other words, like surround sound in the ballpark. It's from one area of the ballpark, but obviously wherever that area is, that's where they've got some TV mics, and then that's what comes across your TV like it's a full crowd or something. But it's weird. I mean, last night, biggest moment of the game, I thought, between the Yankees and Rays, Garrett Cole, bases loaded. Yankees are clinging to a 4 or 5-3 lead, 1 or 2 runs. I think it was 5-3 at that point. End of the fifth inning, Manny Margot at the plate, full count. He gets a hit. Tampa's in business, but Garrett Cole struck him out on a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. And Garrett Cole just, celebrated ending the inning with this guttural scream. And, way up on the top deck at Petco Park where we were, I mean, you could hear that, pretty loud and clear, because he's kind of screaming into the dark night in an empty stadium.
It's echoing.
It echoes, right?
Yeah, that's weird.
I think it's all magnified. Whatever's being said, if there's bad blood and they're going back and forth, you could hear the umpires a lot more. You could hear the players chattering a little bit more. But I do believe that the baseball on television and the NBA on television has done a great job with natural sound. I don't think the NFL's got it right yet. I think it's too loud. You can't hear the announcers as well. But I think baseball has done a really good job. But getting back to the actual games itself, there's still a World Series championship to be won. While the Yankees tripled up Tampa Bay, Houston doubled up Oakland. And this was unbelievable when I saw this stat. Alex Bregman has homered now in the American League Divisional Series 4 straight years, all on October 5th. That's eerie.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's like it's like vampire voodoo stuff or something.
What?
I know. Yeah. October 5th. That's I think maybe there's a book on that guy now, and if they're in the playoffs next year and it's October 5th, whoever they're playing, if you're the opposing manager, just walk the guy, just send him to first base. But the Astros look, they're I don't know how they're doing. They're pitching without Garrett Cole, who obviously pitched for the Yankees last night, without Justin Verlander, who's out for the season. I mean, it's like Zach Greinke and a band of gypsies or something, It's like, who are these guys? But they're getting the job done, and their lineup is dangerous enough still, as we saw yesterday, that if they get any kind of pitching, especially from all these no-name guys, you can't count the Astros out. And, we're building toward what could be a little bit of drama. I mean, if the Astros end up, and again, it's only one game, although it is only a best of 3 of 5. So, big wins. Every win's a big win. When all you got to do is win 3. So if the Astros end up facing the Yankees, say the teams that went up 1-0 yesterday, if they continue to advance, there was a little bit of bad blood Astros-Yankees last year in that ALCS. Remember, the Yankees were saying they were hearing whistling from the Astros dugout, kind of no trash can banging, but whistling on stealing signals. And then can you imagine if it's an Astros-Dodgers rematch in the World Series? Oh, my gosh.
It's elevating with each round, with each passing round, the possibilities.
And Scott, watching the Dodgers, do you think, can any of these other teams in the National League beat them?
I think even though it's the division series this week, I think the Padres-Dodgers really is the National League Championship Series. I don't think Atlanta or Miami's strong enough to beat the Dodgers. The Padres certainly would. I think they had the second best record in the National League this year. The whole key to that deal, and the Padres, we're going to find out in the next 45 minutes or so, because the division series rosters in the National League are due by it's 10 o'clock out here in the West. You guys are, Memphis is Central Time, right?
Right, it's 11:21 right now.
Yeah, so by noon. So the rosters have to be in by noon. So 11:21. So in 39 more minutes, we're going to find out. The Padres have not said yet if Mike Clevenger, the ace they acquired from Cleveland, that then was not around last week because he's been battling biceps tendonitis. They say he's doing a lot better. Indications are he could start game 1 tonight against the Dodgers, but we won't know until, there's the typical gamesmanship, and the Padres aren't tipping their hand too much. But that's how I say we'll know when the rosters get turned in here in another 38 or 39 minutes. And if Clevenger, if his treatment has gone well enough that he can start game 1 tonight, and the other guy's Dinelson Lamet, who was one of the best pitchers in the National League, and he also has biceps tendonitis. My understanding is Clevenger's doing a little better than Lamet. But if Clevenger's active, and if both of them are active, I give the Padres a puncher's chance. That lineup is really good. They're playing well right now. They're kind of that young, carefree underdog team that is playing, instead of under pressure, they're playing the opposite, like they got nothing to lose. They were kind of a swashbuckling group against the Cardinals last week, and even though they lost the first game, they came back and, did it. So, short answer, I guess, after a long answer, is the Dodgers, I think, are clearly the best team in the National League. They're the deepest. I think the Padres have got a shot at them unless Clevenger and Lamet just can't pitch.
Really quickly here, I just want to get your thoughts on this as a Cubs fan myself, and a quick answer. Yep. Will Theo Epstein finish out his contract, or is he gone this offseason?
Yeah, that's a good question. He, as I'm sure you know, as a Cubs guy, he kind of had his post-mortem of the season with the Chicago media yesterday, and he talked at length for about an hour. He's got one more year left on his deal, but he's also been on record as saying, that he thinks, kind of the Bill Walsh, the old 49ers coach philosophy, that there's a shelf life for leaders, and that for both the good of the leader and the group they're leading, after 9 or 10 years, it needs to be a change of venue. And Epstein has had 9 years in with the Cubs already. Now, it doesn't seem like it, but he has. Indications are he'll finish out his contract, but he also talked yesterday about needing a transition strategy with the Cubs ownership, and whether that's he steps up into a higher role. Well, there's not much higher than president of the team, but more of a consultants type of role, and they make his assistant Jed Hoyer the guy in charge, or whether Theo finishes the contract and then next year they figure some things out. I don't know. I tend to think he will finish his contract one more year, but I think the wheels are in motion that the Cubs we've seen over the last several years, both on the field, players, and Theo and the front office people, I think over the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to see significant changes at both levels.
He is Scott Miller, national Major League Baseball columnist for Bleacher Report and Turner Sports. You can hear him on Sirius XM Major League Baseball Radio. Scott, as always, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the games, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Sounds great, guys. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
You too. That is Scott Miller. There are more ways to win than ever before on the FanDuel Fantasy app. From daily fantasy to new season-long contests, you can play for free, or you can join paid games to compete for real cash prizes. Right now, FanDuel is giving new players 20% on their first deposit, up to $500 in bonus credit that's added instantly into your new account. Enter now to play in Sunday slate and single-game contests. You can try your luck in the Gridiron Pick'em. Just pick the winners of Sunday's NFL matchups correctly for your chance to earn up to $5,000 every week, absolutely free. And when you win, FanDuel pays out your winnings in as little as 24 hours. They know that's the right thing to do. If you haven't tried FanDuel yet, what are you waiting for? Sign up and register by using the promo code GASMAN so they know we sent you. When you verify your account, you'll receive $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook is live. Again, that's promo code GASMAN to get $50 in site credit when FanDuel Sportsbook goes live. Simply download the FanDuel Fantasy app today to get started and claim your deposit bonus of up to $500. Age and location-based restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com. When we come back, Jeff Crane from the University of Memphis. This is Sports 56 Middays.
Same great shows.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays.
What's up? It's Sports 56 Happy Hour.
A new spot on the FM dial. Check out Sports 56 on our new FM home at 98.5.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
There are more ways to win than ever before on the FanDuel Fantasy app. From daily fantasy to new season-long contests, you can play for free or join paid games to compete for real cash prizes. Right now, FanDuel is giving new players 20% on their first deposit up to $500 in bonus credit. That's added instantly into your new account. Enter now to play in Sunday slate and single-game contests or try your luck in Gridiron Pick'em. Just pick the winners of Sunday's NFL matchups correctly for your chance to earn up to $5,000 every week, absolutely free. And when you win, FanDuel pays out your winnings in as little as 24 hours. If you haven't tried FanDuel yet, what are you waiting for? Simply download the FanDuel Fantasy app today to get started and claim your deposit bonus of up to $500.
Age and location-based restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com.
For the ones working tirelessly to keep their coworkers safe. For the ones rising to new challenges. For the ones rebuilding stronger than before. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, safety recovery guides, and 24/7 support. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for a fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how to turn browsers into buyers. Learn how FedEx can help take your business to the next level. This hour is also brought to you by the Window Genie. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
We are halfway home on this Tuesday edition of Sports 56 Middays. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Gabe Kuhn in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Do we have a winner yet?
We do have a winner in our Humdingers trivia for today. $25 gift certificate going to our winner. The coaches who were fired in season last year in the NFL, there were two of them. It was Jay Gruden and Ron Rivera. Of course, then Rivera would end up replacing Gruden with the Redskins or the Washington football team. But so we did have one. A few people got it right. One was definitely first. But Freddie Kitchens, Jason Garrett, Pat Shurmur, they were all fired after the season. The only two fired in season were Jay Gruden and Ron Rivera.
Time to talk University of Memphis athletics. We do it each and every Tuesday with Jeff Crane. He's the Tigers' deputy athletics director. You can follow him on Twitter at jcrane75, and he joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Hey, guys. How y'all doing today?
Doing pretty good. I know your boss, Laird Veach, yesterday met with the media via the Zoom and talked about a number of different things, including where things stood from an athletic department standpoint with the COVID, and the numbers obviously are going down, and things are getting better and trending toward getting back to normal, but still a long way to go. What was your thoughts of what Laird had to say yesterday?
You know, we are very optimistic with where our program is right now, but our vigilance and attention to it is still at a heightened state with our sports medicine department and our team physicians and others, because as we've seen with our programs. Once the virus gets into a program, it tends to spread very, very quickly because these young people, they spend a lot of time together, and they spend a lot of time together both in our facilities and outside of our facilities. So we're continuing to watch it closely and continuing to educate our student athletes and ask them to continue to wear masks and do all the things to make sure we can keep our seasons going.
You guys, obviously disappointed with the loss to SMU, but I guess you have to be a little excited that the UCF game, you guys get that 2:30 afternoon ABC slot.
I think it shows you the respect that our conference has across the country when you can have a game like that on national television. It's a big deal, and we're excited. I mean, it's going to be here in Memphis, and so we'll get to show off our home and our city on national TV, which is going to be terrific. Those sort of opportunities don't come along every day, but it shows you the respect of both programs, and both programs have earned that opportunity to be on national TV on Saturday afternoon. Be a lot of eyes watching. That'll be fun.
Last Tuesday, I think we started to get into the discussion about the possibility of whether it be the UCF game or future home football games where maybe the distance that is right now in place, 12 feet between fans, can be pushed to 6 feet by the Shelby County Health Department. We talked about it a little bit. We had Mayor Jim Strickland on, the Memphis mayor, on last week or the week prior, whatever it was, and he talked about, even though it wasn't his decision, that maybe that's where they're going. The trend may be going this way because the numbers seem to be coming down as a whole in the community. What are you hearing, Jeff, about the possibility, even for the UCF game, that things could change and more fans could be added?
We are for the last 48 hours, we've been sending good vibes toward downtown Memphis, hoping that today, because today is the day that the Shelby County Health Department will be having their weekly briefing, and that'll probably happen here in the next 30 minutes. So we're optimistic, and we feel like our facilities staff and the team at the Liberty Bowl in the city have put a good plan in front of the department, and we are hoping and anticipating for an increase in our stadium capacity, but we unfortunately won't have that answer until later on this afternoon.
You guys last week sent out information on the basketball tickets. Can you explain to folks exactly where that stands? What do people need to be doing right now?
Sure. It's a very similar process to what we put in place for football, in that fans have the opportunity to make their own decision. If they decide that they do not want to renew their season tickets for this basketball season, then they will maintain their same seats for next season. If they do go ahead and renew them and pay for them now, it will lock in their pricing for next season. So it'll essentially just roll over automatically to next season, because we will not be selling season tickets for this season. But by paying now, you lock in your price for next season regardless of any increases. Also, if you pay now, you will have first opportunity to buy single game tickets. We're anticipating right now, if we're at 12 feet, that we'll have approximately 1,500 fans at FedEx Forum for Tiger men's basketball games. And so those that choose to pay for next year's season tickets now will have first opportunity to purchase those tickets. So we've gotten great response. The deadline to do that is by the 15th of October. And to be honest, throughout the late summer and early fall, folks were still saying to us, "Hey, we want to find ways to support the program, and we'll go ahead and pay for our tickets now, knowing that they'll be locked in their same seats no matter if they pay or not for next season."
Yesterday, as you are aware of, the Division I men's and women's basketball oversight committees reaffirmed their positions on reducing the number of games to 4. So the maximum number of games teams can play this upcoming season will be 4 less than usual. We don't know the schedule yet. Hopefully we'll know that sooner than later. But does that affect anything that there's 4 less games? And I'm not sure if that would be 4 home games.
Yeah, I mean, it will. It may have an impact on the number of home games we have. That's something that we're going to work through with the conference and with our men's basketball staff to determine what games do we keep and what games do we, meaning non-conference, which ones do we keep and which ones we move on from for this year. So we do think there'll be some impact to the number of home games this season, but we're optimistic it won't be dramatic. We hope it'll be less than 4 or 5 decrease in home games from last season to this season. But it's still a little early to tell. It seems crazy to say that, but it's really we're really kind of in the same place we were in with football in late July, early August, where we were still kind of juggling our schedule. That will probably be something that'll be ongoing through the month of October as we kind of juggle our schedule around.
But just, and you're right, look, everything's up in the air. We don't know what we're doing tomorrow, let alone a month and a half from now. But I will ask you this, just to make sure I have some clarity. So normally you would play 31 games, if I'm not mistaken. There's the increase now in conference games is to 20 this year. So if there's 4 less, obviously Captain Math will tell you that's 27, 20 conference games. That leaves 7 games non-conference. And you guys are on the books for a couple of things. You got the tournament in South Dakota, and I don't know if that counts as 1. If you play 2 or 3 games, if it still counts as only 1. Those tournaments were always like you got 3 for 1, basically. I know you had the neutral court game against Tennessee that's on the schedule. You had a game against Auburn. So kind of go through that, Jeff, a little bit on where we stand as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the conference games would take the priority, and so if you look at it from that number 20, we would have to kind of back into the rest of the numbers, and how the tournament, the multi-team event will count is a really good question. My gut is it would probably count by each game that we play in that tournament. So that would obviously impact the number of additional conference games. So you will start to see some of that unfold, I think, in the next several weeks. But we really just don't know, because obviously the number of non-conference games that our opponents are able to play too will factor into this as well. So there are so many moving parts related to all of this that it's certainly complicated. But I have no doubt that by early November we will have it figured out until something else changes.
I like how you threw that in there.
Which might be later today. Who knows? We'll figure that out.
In other words, don't hold us on anything we've said previously.
That's right.
Don't hold us to it.
Schedule subject to. There's always the asterisk that says schedule subject to change this year. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, that's right.
Jeff, I don't know if you know this or not, but today is National Coaches Day, so you may want to go around pat some people on the back today.
Goodness gracious, I did not know that. Thank you for the heads up. As far as I'm concerned, it's always National Coaches Day, as far as I'm concerned.
I thought maybe the coaches were walking around the offices like, "Hey guys, you know what day it is today, right? Like, did you get us a gift? Did you get us anything? But you do know what day it is."
In this day and age, should he be patting anybody on the back? Should he be within 6 feet?
Don't pat him on the back.
I don't know.
Just tell him from across the way.
Yeah, shout out with a mask.
I thought maybe they would, like all your coaches were like the camel, like, "What day is it? What day?"
Yeah. No, it is. I was unaware of that, but I can always count on you guys for some really good information that otherwise would be useless. I really do appreciate.
See, that's where that you will be the hero. Then you're like, yes, of course I know it's National Coaches Day. Who doesn't know that?
We try to entertain and educate, Jeff, right here on Middays.
Y'all really do.
All right. So one final thing before we let you go, and I want to circle back to football. If they do allow more fans in, how will that work? Because you guys had said in the summer that there's not going to be single game tickets available. So how would you work that in?
Yeah, so what we would do is we would first offer everybody that has paid for their season tickets, essentially they donated their season ticket cost back to the program over the summer. And that was about 9,000 tickets there. Mm-hmm. We would offer those tickets to all those people first for the remainder of the season, so we'd be able to fill their season ticket for the rest of the season, and then we would make some additional single game tickets available at that point. We do anticipate the numbers to be in the 10 to 12,000 range if we can get to the 6 feet, and so we'll offer some single game tickets at that point to those that have credited to next season first, and then offer them to the public from there. So obviously, we've got our fingers crossed that we can do this for the UCF game. It's obviously a big one with the national TV, like we already talked about. But
right.
I think Coach Silverfield would probably tell you that we owe UCF one. So we've got to be prepared and need as many fans in the stands as we can possibly get. So we are cautiously optimistic and in great anticipation of that press conference later today.
All right, Jeff, best of luck on that subject and on everything else. We will certainly talk to you next Tuesday, if not before. You take care. Thank you as always.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care, Jeff.
New Life Medical Center out at just off of Highway 40 on Highway 64 is where you'll find them. 9160 Highway 64 to the shops at Stonebridge. Online at newlifemedcenters.com. They're open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 1 on Saturday as well for you to go by and see them. They do primary and urgent care. They treat a lot of different things. They can give you, they do testosterone replacement therapy for the guys out there. That's what I go see them for. 45% of men over the age of 30 have low testosterone. It's easy to get checked out, and if you are low, you can get that testosterone replacement therapy to help you feel better on a daily basis. But if you're feeling sick, have any sort of injury, you can go see them at New Life Medical Center. Again, 9160 Highway 64, 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday, and 9 to 1 on Saturday at newlifemedcenters.com online. Go check them out, New Life Medical Center.
If you thought there was a lot of scoring through the first 4 weeks of the NFL season, well, you're absolutely right. We'll tell you how historic it has been through the first 4 weeks. Titans get some more good news And the NBA final resumes tonight with Game 4. Miami tries to even things up. The Lakers try to go up 3-1. We will discuss when we return for our final segment here in hour number 2. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 98.5 FM.
Start your day the right way with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane on Sports 56 Mornings. Weekdays from 7 to 10 on Sports 56, 98.5 FM and 96.1 FM.
Farmers Insurance knows that there's a not-so-subtle difference between the sound of a car hitting your rear bumper and the sound of a clown car hitting your rear bumper.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Sorry about that!
We call that a three-ring fender bender, and we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent.
They know a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up? We're here to help. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $32.99. Plus a $10 bonus reward if you're an AutoZone Rewards member. Not a member? Don't worry. You can sign up fast right here in store or on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how to turn browsers into buyers. Learn how FedEx can help take your business to the next level. This hour is also brought to you by the Window Genie. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Fashion, turn to the left. Fashion, turn to the right.
Window Genie, a trusted name in window cleaning, but they do so much more, including holiday lighting. That's right. Window Genie will customize your lighting, install it, maintain it, and store it away for one low price. And if you order by November 1st, you get 15% off. Call Kate Robertson at Window Genie for a free estimate. They'll come out. They'll talk to you, find out exactly what you want them to do, and they will do it for you. You don't have to lift a finger. Window Genie, 901-424-4100. Make sure to ask for the Sports 56 special. The NFL's offensive surge in 2020 is now historic. The league has averaged a combined 51.3 points per game, the highest through 4 weeks of a season since the 1970 AFL-NFL merger. The previous high was 48.1 points per game. That was set in 2018. I would have to assume, Eli, that Vegas has reacted to that with over-unders. I don't pay too much attention to that stuff right now, at least. But I would have to think their numbers have gone up to try to counter what's going on with the scoring.
Yeah, there were a lot of games this past weekend with numbers over 50. Like last night, the Falcons Packers game was 56.5, I believe, was the over-under. I mean, these are numbers, you're getting numbers over 50 isn't something in the past that was real common.
Right.
Now, there was probably at least 4 or 5, maybe even more, that had numbers over 50 in this past weekend's games.
Yeah, and you have to adjust if you're Vegas. Obviously, everybody will be going over if it's still low like it's been in the past, so they're going to move it up. And then that game you just talked about obviously went under, Green Bay and Atlanta. The Tennessee Titans had no positive COVID-19 tests today, so that's the second straight day. That means the team can return to the practice facility tomorrow. Their game against Buffalo is on for Sunday, right now at least. And that game is scheduled for Nashville. So they'll get back on the field. They'll get back to their facility tomorrow, according to this story, and then be able to play their game against Buffalo. So that's good news.
Yeah, that's really good. Good. Hopefully, again, all that could be behind them, and they can move on, and we'll wait and see where the next one of these comes from and what team that is. But hopefully they can avoid too many of these problems.
The Miami Dolphins have announced they're sticking with Fitzmagic. Ryan Fitzpatrick will continue to start over Tua Tagovailoa as the Dolphins get set for week number 5. The NBA Final resumes tonight. Game 4, 8 o'clock Central Time. Lakers a 7.5-point favorite over the Heat. They lead the series 2-1. Bam Adebayo has been upgraded to questionable. Doesn't mean he'll play, but he's questionable, so there's a possibility he will. Goran Dragic will not. Can Jimmy Butler do it again?
I guess you have to say he can. Will he? I don't know. What does Anthony Davis do in this game? That's probably the bigger question. It will determine a lot about it. But after that performance the other night, I'm not going to say Jimmy Butler can't do it.
Does Frank Vogel and the staff, do they put together something a little bit different defensively to guard against Butler going off? Is there anything they can do as far as devising a plan?
Sure they can. I'm sure they'll look at various things and maybe see how they want to use LeBron or whatever. But I think ideally, in a lot of ways, for them, they would say, all right, let Jimmy Butler do his thing. Just don't let anybody else hurt us, like Kelly Olynyk coming off the bench to hurt us. As long as if it's just Jimmy Butler that does it, nobody else goes off, then we're going to be fine anyway. Especially if they get Anthony Davis going again.
Major League Baseball playoffs, we talked to Scott Miller about that. Here's the schedule, the lineup for today. It's Miami-Atlanta Game 1 in their National League Divisional Series. Again, these are all best of 5. It'll be 1:08 Central Time. Then Houston and Oakland will play Game 2 in their series with Houston leading 1-0. Yankees and Tampa Bay, that's at 3:37. 7:10 tonight, Yankees-Tampa Bay Game 2 of their series in the American League Divisional Series. Yankees up 1-0. And then the Padres and the Dodgers will begin their NLDS at 8:38 tonight, game number 1.
By the way, if you're on that NFL thing, so going into this past weekend, overs had been 29-19 on the year. This past weekend, now this was early in the week. I'm reading this story from ESPN. But early in the week, last week, the average over-under number for all of the games was the highest in the last 35 seasons.
Wow.
It was right around 50. The previous high had been 48.89 in Week 11 of 2018. This past weekend had the highest over-unders for Cleveland had their highest over-under, Dallas, Seattle, and Green Bay in the past 35 seasons.
What would you attribute that to?
The how much offense there is, you mean?
Yes.
I mean, again, I don't know. I don't know if it's a COVID thing and the lack of practice and if that results in poor tackling and the defenses being behind the offenses in this. I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of it is just the way the game is played anymore and all of the rules being slanted towards the offense, basically, to produce more points.
Pinnacle, go ahead.
And I also do think there is, and I don't know what the numbers are on this, and I haven't seen. It feels to me like watching games, and I think this is an analytics thing because coaches are starting to rely. There's more coaches relying on it. I think coaches are going for it on fourth down a lot more than they used to. And I think that, because it's a smart play in most situations, especially on the 4th and 2s and 4th and 3s and on the opponent's side of the field, where a lot of times used to settle for field goals. I think coaches are going for that a lot more, and I think they get it a lot more. And there's probably we're seeing more touchdowns scored than we've ever seen before. I think a part of that is coaches are now willing to go for it.
There is a little of that. There's no question about it. But I go back to what you said earlier with the rules. The way the rules are governed now is advantage offense, disadvantage defense. I also think with the safety precautions that are in place, that hits that may not have been called personal fouls in the past are called personal fouls now. You couple that with, of course, their pass interference rules, which has always been in place, that you get the ball at the point of the penalty and not a 15-yarder like in college. You're going to have teams now in the red zone a lot quicker. And it used to be when you watch the NFL, especially years ago when I was playing fantasy football, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's almost the end of the first quarter. My team hasn't even got the ball yet. And, I got 2 players on this team, and they haven't even got the ball. There's 4 minutes to go in the quarter. Well, now you just see quick strike offense. You see more of an aerial attack. You see quarterbacks that are multidimensional so they can tuck and run. You have the the rules that certainly favor the offense. I think it's all that, plus, like you said, the gambling that is taking place more because the odds are telling teams to go for it, and it just all adds up to more offense. And there's nothing wrong with more offense.
I mean, you have the touchback now is at the 25-yard line versus the 20.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of things that have just been set up to increase offense in the game, and that's a smart move by the NFL. I mean, I think more people want to see the higher scoring games, so I don't blame the NFL for doing it. But yeah, there's a lot of different things I think that combine to put us where we're at.
Like it or not, old school or not, offense is big in every sport. They want more scoring in the NBA. They want more scoring in Major League Baseball. And, of course, now in the National Football League, we are seeing it. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration, for all your roofing and home repair needs, it's a smart call to Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084. They offer financing with many different plans and options to choose from, including a 6, 12, or 18-month same-as-cash option. They will work with your insurance company or out of pocket. Pinnacle is part of the Roofs for Troops program. So any veteran out there, active or retired, you get a $250 rebate on the purchase of a new roof. They do residential and commercial roofing. So listen, if you have an issue with your roof right now, it's a problem. Don't make it be a major disaster. Call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on the purchase of a new roof, and all their work is satisfaction guaranteed. They do carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters, put up fencing and siding, rotten wood repair. Brandon is a certified shingle installer. They can do it all. Quality work at a very reasonable price. Again, locally owned and operated. It's Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. Do what I do. Call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084 for all your roofing and home repair needs, or go online to newroofmemphis.com. When we come back, it's our 5 favorite songs as we kick off hour number 3. The topic today is better. If you haven't sent your list in, please do so via the First Bank text line at 67129. If you're watching us live, you can message us with the lists at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. This is Sports 56 Middays.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
Hey Tiger fans, this is John Stacy of the Wolf Chase Honda Blue and Gray Show. You can hear Drew Barrett and I talk Tigers with Tigers every Sunday night at 5 right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7. You never know which Tigers great we'll have in the studio with us either. We'll get them to call in too. We are your go-to show for Memphis Tigers football. That's the Wolf Chase Honda Blue and Gray Show right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
There are more ways to win than ever before on the FanDuel Fantasy app. From daily fantasy to new season-long contests, you can play for free or join paid games to compete for real cash prizes. Right now, FanDuel is giving new players 20% on their first deposit, up to $500 in bonus credit added instantly into your new account. Enter now to play in Sunday slate and single game contests, or try your luck in Gridiron Pick'em. Just pick the winners of Sunday's NFL matchups correctly for your chance to earn up to $5,000 every week. Absolutely free. And when you win, FanDuel pays out your winnings in as little as 24 hours. If you haven't tried FanDuel yet, what are you waiting for? Simply download the FanDuel Fantasy app today to get started and claim your deposit bonus of up to $500.
Age and location-based restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com.
Hey folks, I'm Jarrett Carter. My family recently purchased East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station, and we're excited to offer the best selection of Big Green Egg and Traeger grills. And then don't forget about our Benjamin Moore Paint Studio and the Garden Center for flowers. Save 60% with our new Duracell key fob replacement program. We have a master locksmith service as well as glass cutting and screen repair. The East Memphis Ace Hardware, located at Quince and White Station behind Three Little Pigs.
Summertime and the living is easy. No more cutting or paying utilities. Literally, you guys, Town Village Audubon Park, nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, themed dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, WPGFLP Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how FedEx can help you start, grow, and efficiently manage your business. This hour is also brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I was a highwayman. Along the coach roads I did ride.
Final hour for us today here on this Tuesday, October 6th, 2020 edition of Middays. Greg Gaston, the birthday boy, Eli Savoy, and Gabe Kuhn. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. The world's biggest spa sale going on right now at Family Leisure. When you stop by, pick up, while supplies last, an official Sports 56 mask. East Memphis Ace Hardware, third hour sponsor of Middays, 5143 Quince Road, right next door to Billy Hardwick's All-Star Lanes. AceHardware.com, online where you can get free shipping for convenience, service, knowledge, and price. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware, 901-683-8688. They're open Monday through Saturday, 8 to 7, Sunday, 10 to 4. Got 2.5 questions coming up a little bit later on in the hour. Then Eli will head on out to, a charity event that he's involved in, charity golf event. But right now, it's time for our 5 favorite songs.
Five favorite songs.
All right, the topic today is the word better. So you need better in the title of your song, all your songs. If you haven't sent your list in, you can go ahead and do so now via First Bank text line at 67129. If you are watching us live, you can message us with the lists at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Instagram. We'll go Gabe, Eli, me, and then you out there in listening land. All right, Gabe, you ready?
Yeah. Category is better, and I'm going to be honest. We've had better categories before.
This was not one of our better categories, even though it is the better category. Although my number one song is one of my favorite songs of all time. Although it's not a very well known song, but yeah, this was not the strongest category.
This wasn't "Girl" from the other day.
I tried. So bear with me on my list. All right.
Okay.
5. I went "Better Days" by Springsteen. 4. "Better Now" by Post Malone. You guys big fans of Post Malone, I know.
Oh, yes, big Post fan.
I know you're a big fan of this next person. "Better Things" by A$AP Rocky.
Oh, great. I'm glad. You can't call it a bad category if A$AP Rocky has a song that fits.
2. "Just Feel Better" by Santana. And then number 1, I threw it back to the 90s.
Strike 1, me and Nate Dogg is a match. Strike 2, leave them standing still in their track. Strike 3, you could call us 213. It's the L and the B that makes me act like a G.
My exhibition started back in 93, when wasn't nobody listening but Warren and me. To all the non-believers now I bet you see, nobody does it better than me. They can come
Nobody Does It Better by Nate Dogg and Warren G.
Original, they never will be.
Yeah.
Go with Snoop Dogg for a second.
No, you're hearing Nate
Different
Dogg.
dog.
That Nate Dogg
Different
is
dog.
the one. That's the voice you know.
Get your dog straight.
Yeah, I get my dogs mixed up every once in a while. By the way, I love Snoop Dogg. Have you seen the Corona commercials with Snoop Dogg?
Yeah, I have.
Yep.
What is he like? It seems like he's lost it mentally. I don't know what the hell he's saying. What is he talking about?
Well, I mean,
it is Snoop
you can't
Dogg.
say he lost it mentally when they're probably writing a script for him.
Yes,
like,
I don't mean
it's
it.
Snoop
I don't
Dogg.
mean reality. I'm kidding, but it's like I think he just smoked a big blunt and then he started talking incoherently because I don't know what he's saying on these commercials. But anyway, it's always good to see Snoop Dogg as opposed to Nate Dogg. But that's a good song there. At
Nate
number
Dogg
1.
is actually passed. So rest in peace to Nate
Well, now
Dogg.
I feel terrible. Rest in peace, Nate Dogg.
Snoop Dogg's still alive. You can get your dog straight.
Yep.
Does
Hot Diggity Dog still alive.
Nate Dogg go 2 G's?
Yep. 2 G's.
That's original. That's original OG right there going 2 G's. I go 2 G's.
All right. Is it me next?
It is you.
All right. Number 5. Should have known better. Richard Marx. Number 4. Better Man by Clint Black. I think there's a lot of artists who have done a song called Better Man, but I go Clint Black.
And not always the same song.
Yeah, different songs, but yes, same title. Number 3, Something Better by the Dirt Drifters. Number 2, You Better You Bet by The Who. And number 1.
I say the night you left me, nothing worse could ever happen. Seeing you with someone else proved that I was wrong. And when your eyes met mine, I knew that you were gone forever. Along with all the reasons I had for hanging on. I'd be better off in a pine box on a slow train back to Georgia, or in the gray walls of a prison doing time.
It's Doug Stone. I'd be better off in a pine box.
Well, he just depressed me, man. He's just brought the whole show down. Doug Stone.
It's a great song.
Man, oh man. He'd be better in a pine box?
On a slow train down to Georgia.
Yikes.
At the gray walls of a prison, doing time.
I need to pick me up now.
Well, you'll get one here. You'll get one here. All right, here are my 5 favorite songs, with the topic being better. Number 5, Better Life by Keith Urban.
Look at you going Keith Urban on us. Whoa.
I have that on my phone. I like that song.
Whoa, what? You got a Keith Urban song in your phone?
I do.
Is that the only one?
It's the only one. Love His Wife, by the way.
Yeah.
You don't like Nicole Kidman?
I could do without.
I couldn't. Better Life.
You have.
I have for many years. Number 5, Better Life, Keith Urban. Number 4, Better Be Good to Me by Tina Turner. Shocked that Eli didn't have this one in here. Great song by Tina Turner. Number 3, Better Man by Pearl Jam. Number 2, Getting Better, The Beatles, a classic. But Eli did mention this one in his top 5. This is my number 1.
I call you on the telephone now, boy, it's too rough with cigarettes. I sometimes feel I should just go home, but I'm dealing with a memory that never forgets. I love to hear you say my name, especially when you say yes. I got your body right now on my mind, but I jump myself back to the sound of old T-Rex. To the sound of old T-Rex. Oh, and who's next? When I say I love you, you say you better. You better, you
It is The Who.
When I say
You Better, You Bet.
say you better.
Love that song. To knock Getting Better for the Beatles out of the number 1 perch, it had to be one of my faves, and this is one of my favorites from The Who. Certainly one of my favorites overall. You Better, You Bet. All right, there you go.
All right, just to take a break from the songs for a moment. Apparently, all of the good vibes sent from the University of Memphis to downtown did work, as the health department has announced that the social distancing at sporting events will go from 12 feet to 6 feet.
Well, Mayor Strickland, although he doesn't make the call, but certainly he's kind of an important guy, alluded to the fact that he felt it was going in that direction.
This has been the feeling all along,
Yes.
that the UCF game was going to be the game where they did that.
I think people looked at, and when I say people, the Shelby County Health Department, that just, number 1, the first game against Arkansas State looked ridiculous. Like how little people there was in that giant cavernous stadium, number 1. And then number 2, the numbers are going down. So certainly good news for Memphis, more fans. That's great for the team as they will play UCF in what is now pretty much a must-win coming up a week from Saturday. So the atmosphere, the ambiance will be a lot better. So that's good news. Good news.
Other things they announced, restaurants and bars can now be open until midnight instead of 10 p.m. Table capacity will go from 6 to 8 for those places as well.
So there was...
So there you go. So bars and restaurants can be open a little bit later, and the sporting events now 6 feet separation.
So there was a restriction on the time that restaurants and bars could be open? I didn't know that.
Yes, that's been one of the big problems that a lot of those folks have had, is that they have to close at 10 o'clock.
Oh, I had no idea. Even Beale Street? No, Beale Street had like a separate rule, didn't they? Didn't they have like a separate rule or something?
Yeah, but they changed that too. So I think they were closing at 10 as well.
Okay.
The ones that were open.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, but yeah, so there's some good news as far as that is concerned. So both folks will have a chance to go out to the Tigers football games. All right, let's see here. Zed checks in with You Better You Bet at number 5. Better Class of Losers by Randy Travis at 4. Better Man, Clint Black at 3. Better Man, Pearl Jam at 2. And number 1, You Know Me Better Than That, George Strait. Another list here doesn't have a name on it, and they only came with 3, but they got You Better You Bet at 1. Nobody Does It Better by Carly Simon at 2.
Ooh, a good one there.
And Better Off Alone, don't have an artist there, at number 3. Let's see.
Let's we got to chastise that listener a little bit. We appreciate you listening and appreciate you participating, but come on. You got to come up with 5. You got to put your name down. Please help us out a little bit. Your Carly Simon pick, fantastic. I am mad that I didn't remember that one yesterday when putting together my list. That is a great song.
I am not going to chastise you, Texter. We appreciate you contributing.
No, get you 5 next time.
Nico, leading off with a double here. Double word score for Nico at number 5. Gonna Get Better by Better Than Ezra. Number 4, Anything You Can Do, I Can Do Better by Ethel Merman. Number 3, Better Off Dead, Bad Religion. And number 2, Better Man, Pearl Jam.
So that Bad Religion song can go with the Doug Stone song. They're Better Off Dead. That guy wants you in a pine box on a slow-moving train to China.
Slow train down to Georgia.
I know it.
Number 1, You Better You Bet by The Who.
There you go.
Gabe, can you play Pearl Jam's Better Man? I'm trying to think of that song in my head.
Want me to sing it?
No, please do not.
You know the
Actually,
song.
you can go ahead and sing it, Greg. I'm into it. Let's hear it.
No, I'm not going to sing
it. I know I've heard
bluffing.
the song, and I cannot think of their better. I cannot think of their version of Better Man.
They're the only 2 words I know in the song. Better Man. You know this. You know this song. When he plays it, you'll know it in a second.
I know. I just can't think of it right now, so that's why I want him to play it.
Okay.
Amber, number 5, Treat You Better by Shawn Mendes. Number 4, Better Now by Post Malone. Number 3, Better Than Me by Hinder. Number 2, Better Off Alone by Jelly Roll. And number 1, Better Man by Pearl Jam. Honorable mention to Better Man by Hell Yeah. Not familiar with the Hell Yeah group. Bobby in Midtown, You Better You Bet by The Who at number 5. You Better Think Twice by Poco at number 4. You Can Look, But You Better Not Touch by Bruce Springsteen at 3. Number 2.
Man, how did I forget that song?
Better Now by Collective Soul. And number 1, Feeling So Much Better Now by Trapeze.
How did I forget the Bruce song?
Ray in Cordova. Number 5, Should Have Known Better, Richard Marx. Number 4, Getting Better, The Beatles. Number 3, Nobody Does It Better, Carly Simon. Number 2, You Better You Bet. And number 1, Better Be Good to Me.
Ready for some Pearl Jam?
Yeah, give me that. I don't want to get in my head. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I just could not get their version of Better Man in my
Any
head.
Better sounds just like me. Nothing. No response. Such a good song.
I mean, you keep bragging about it, but you're too scared to sing.
No, I'm
That's what
not.
it
I'm
seems
terrible.
like.
I'm a terrible singer.
Okay. There you go. The truth comes out.
Yeah, I should have put this on my list. I should put this one on my list too. Carolyn, Better Together, Luke Combs at 5. Better When I'm Dancing by Meghan Trainor at 4. Better Luck Next Time, Kelsey Ballerini at 3. Number 2, Nobody Does It Better, Carly Simon. And number 1, Even the Nights Are Better by Air Supply.
Not a bad song there either.
Honorable mention to Should Have Known Better by the Beatles. Lou and KC, Nobody Does It Better by Carly Simon. Number 4, You Better Stop by Little Richard. Number 3, Better Be Good to Me, Tina Turner. Number 2, Better in Color by Lizzo. And number 1, Better Man by Pearl Jam. Somebody says, just tune in. Anybody mentioned Yellow Ledbetter by Pearl Jam?
Mm-mm.
You familiar with that song?
No, not at all.
John on Facebook. Better Days, Bruce Springsteen. Better Things by the Kinks. Nobody Does It Better by Carly Simon. Although he mistyped it, I kind of like this title better. Nobody Does It Smell Better by Carly Simon. Better Man by Little Big Town and Better Man by Clint Black. John also asked if we've done Young or Younger yet. I don't believe we have done Young yet. I'd have to double check on the list, but I don't believe so. We'll put that down. Andrew, number 5, Better Together, Luke Combs. Number 4, It's Getting Better All the Time, Brooks and Dunn. Number 3, Treat You Better, Shawn Mendes. Number 2, Better Life, Keith Urban.
Hey, how about that?
And number 1, Better Man, Little Big Town. Bobby on Facebook, number 5, Better Man, Clint Black. Number 4, Better Than I Used to Be, Tim McGraw. Number 3, Old Enough to Know Better, Wade Hayes. Number 2, Ready for the Times to Get Better by Cody Jinks. And number 1, Better Man, Better Off by Tracy Lawrence. And let's see here.
We haven't done Young, by the way. I just confirmed.
I believe that is all of our lists.
Well, I thought the listeners did a really good job because there was 3 or 4 that I didn't even have and didn't even consider that at least 2 of them would be on the list. So good job finding those songs. I don't know why I had a tough time finding songs last night on the internet. I was like, this is it for better, and where our listeners came strong as they always do. All right, tomorrow.
At least you didn't throw in any Harry Styles. I don't know if he has any songs that fit.
Did not see anything from Harry Styles. But I'm surprised I'm the only one going with "Better Be Good to Me" by Tina Turner. Boy, that was a good song.
Can't even think of that.
Can we get that to the going to the break? A little "Better Be Good to Me" with Tina Turner. We'll do that to the break.
Not that I know much of Tina Turner songs, but that one I don't. Maybe I'm sure I've heard it, but I don't know.
It was a hit. I mean, she was. There was like a couple of years that she was just really hot. She looked great, but she was also just all over the radio. All right, so for tomorrow, the topic will be this. The word "this," THIS. The word "this" in the title of your songs. 5 favorite songs tomorrow. All right, so when we come back, 2.5 questions. Final segment for Eli, but not our final segment here on Middays. Let's enjoy a little Tina Turner as we head to the timeout.
Oh yes, I'm touched by this show of emotion. Should I be fractured by your lack of devotion? Should I?
Grab a seat for a happy hour with John Harden.
Passengers will please fasten their seatbelts.
On Sports 56 Happy Hour. Weekdays from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 98.5 FM and 96.1 FM.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
I love the real estate business. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. I've been selling real estate a long time. What I love is having people ask me how some houses sell so quickly and others sit. That's an easy answer. Any agent can sit and tell you what you want to hear. I tell you what you need to know. I give you options and alternatives. I'm a firm believer in preparation, presentation, and proper pricing. We discuss that and my unique Shellbucks option. Beating your competition down the street or around the corner is the name of the game. So if you or someone you know is thinking of selling, talk to 2 to 3 real estate agents and make sure that I am one of them. Find out why my strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option can mean the difference in whether you sit or sell. You'll find out why people often say when you want the job done, call Shell Done. You can reach me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's Shell Done Rosengarten. 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com.
Hulu has live sports, which means you can watch football on Hulu Plus Live TV. That's right, from the biggest games to your favorite players like Baker Mayfield. Catch the action live on Hulu. Plus, get access to over 65 live channels and the largest streaming TV library, including exclusive originals and the hottest shows and movies. Start your free trial today so you don't miss a moment. Live TV plan required, restrictions apply. Learn more at Hulu.com.
Get your gun, Nelly, and saddle up Penelope as Western Trading Days at Sunrise Buick GMC. Old-time trading prices on over 800 new Buicks and GMCs, and the Sunrise Used Car Corral has over 150 in stock. Sunrise has rustled up a good-looking herd of cars and trucks under $99.95. Ranch managers have been told to cut prices to the bone. If you're a good person with bad credit, SunriseMemphis.com will help put your brand on one of these little fillies. Come on in and save some money during Western Trading Days at Sunrise, Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville. Cars cost less at Sunrise, partner.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how FedEx can help you start, grow, and efficiently manage your business. This hour is also brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
He was a hard-headed man. He was brutally handsome. And she was terminally pretty. She held him up.
Welcome back.
And he held up for ransom.
Nico says, I would allow Yellow Ledbetter just for thinking outside of the box. Good call, whoever texted that in.
It worked.
Yeah,
as far
Ledbetter
as
works. Yeah, it fits the category. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that song. I'm sure I've heard it. I think I've heard every Pearl Jam song at some point, but I just don't know all the titles. But yeah, that certainly fits the category. Time now for 2.5 questions.
Who, what, where, when, how, and why? Questions start with these. Step right up and answer all my questions, if you please.
I'm just a normal kid, like you, except that I ask questions. And because I'm brave enough to ask questions, I come under scrutiny.
Asking all them questions. Why you asking all them questions?
Now here is a question for you.
What does the fox say?
All right, question number 1. So, Brian Hoyer, been around the NFL for a while now. I think it was, his 7th team he started for last night? I believe that's
third go around with the Patriots.
One behind Ryan Fitzpatrick, which I was shocked that he had actually never started a game for the Patriots before. I just assumed that somewhere along the line Brady, sat out a game or something, maybe at the end of a season, and Hoyer got a start, but apparently he had not. He's made $30 million in his career, or right around there. Has 1 Super Bowl ring, 39 starts, been around for a long time. Would you rather have Brian Hoyer's career and make around $30 million, or I've got some professional golfers here who have made the same amount of money, Brian Hoyer or Bill Haas? They both made $30 million in their career in their respective sports.
Bill Haas has made $30 million?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the obvious thing you would say, I don't have to take a beating in golf, whereas Brian Hoyer, a quarterback, I'm sure has had a few concussions in his day. But Bill Haas is almost obscure. Hoyer, some people know him from just being a journeyman. I would rather have. He has a Super Bowl ring, you said?
Hoyer
with the
has
Patriots.
one, yes.
Yeah, I'll take Hoyer's career.
All right. Would you rather have Hoyer's career or Jeff Ogilvy with 1 U.S. Open title?
Yeah, he's got a major. What's Ogilvy made for his career?
The same. They're all the same. They're all made $30 million.
I would probably want. I would still take. Close. I still take Hoyer.
Really? Over a U.S. Open title?
Yeah, he's kind of obscure, Ogilvy, though. Like, I'm waiting for you to give me a name where people know who he is. He can maybe make some money off endorsements. Hey, I once won a U.S. Open, blah, 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 blah.
Well, Hoyer's not making any money off endorsements.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm taking golfer every time.
No, but I'm giving
really.
Yes.
See, but the reason is I don't look at them equal. I look at the Super Bowl ring as more of an accomplishment. The one major.
A Super Bowl ring in a team that you didn't play for, over a major title that you went out and won by yourself?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
There's a lot of guys who have Super Bowl rings that you don't even know they got a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, you've changed my mind. I'm going to still take Hoyer over Haas, but I am going to take Ogilvy over Hoyer. You guys are right.
I guess I'm not. I guess I'm the one. Like I've played football before. I just don't want. I don't want to have to get hit in the head more than I have to.
But he hasn't been probably hit in the head too much.
Yeah, because he didn't play a whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to take Ogilvy over Hoyer.
Yeah, I was just interested to see because you're making the same amount of money, but one has a Super Bowl ring, although he didn't do anything to get that.
Yeah.
Whereas another guy, I wanted to do one without a major title and one with a major title that had made the same amount of money.
Of course, you can walk around, flash that ring at the ladies. Yeah, you won a Super Bowl. Yeah, I don't think Ogilvy's carrying around. Which one did he win? The U.S. Open?
Yes, Ogilvy won the U.S. Open.
So that's the Wanamaker's PGA, right?
Yes.
What's the Open trophy? What's it called?
I don't know what the name of the trophy is.
He's not walking around. He's going to parties, walking around with a trophy in his hand.
Would it make a difference if I gave you Mike Weir so you could wear a green jacket?
He's Canadian.
Would you take Weir?
Do I have to be Canadian? No, you're the one that doesn't like Canada. He's left-hander, man. He's left-handed dude. He's wacky. I would take the green jacket. Yeah, I would definitely take Weir.
Okay. Last night, I know a lot of people like to make fun of Darren Rovell on Twitter and have problems with him, and I don't necessarily have that big a problem with him. But
nor do I.
But last night he tweeted something that I just found idiotic. One of the reasons he tries to give as a big reason why the NBA's finals ratings are down is the fact there are no fans at the game. Which I don't understand. I don't think anybody's ever watched a game to watch the fans.
You would think the numbers would be up because those fans would be watching. They'd be added to the television ratings as opposed to being at the game.
But give me your top 3 reasons why the NBA finals are having such low ratings.
Top 3 reasons. Well, the whole pandemic is nobody's watching the way they used to with anything. Even the NFL numbers, I think, are a little bit down. So I would say across the board, sports, even though it's our livelihood, is not as important to people anymore. It's not as important. So I think the numbers are down drastically across the board, and that would include in the NBA. That would be number 1. Number 2 would be when the season is being played right now. It's in the fall. There's football. There's baseball playoffs. The timing is not really good. So I would think that's number 2. Number 3, I do believe to some degree with some people, it's probably because of the political aspect of things. The Black Lives Matter movement, they're just tired of it, and all the politics that came into play when the NBA players decided they weren't going to play, and then it lasted like 3 days, and they came back and played. That has to be I would attribute some of that to it, but I don't think it's as much as the other 2. When it's being played, what it's going up against, and the fact that across the board, sports is down. Sports viewing is down.
Okay. Question number 3. Gabe, I want your answer on this one, too. I want you to rank these guys in order the number of games they will win at their current job. Just at their current job.
From this point on.
The number of games they will win in their current position. Counting games they've already won.
Oh, counting games they've already won. Okay.
It's not many.
All right.
Ryan Silverfield, Mike Norvell, Mike Leach, Lane Kiffin. Rank them in order number of games they will win in their current job.
Okay. So, yeah, Kiffin's won 1, Leach has won 1, Silverfield's won 1, Norvell's won 1. Right? Or 2? 1.
1, yeah. I mean, what they've won doesn't matter at this point.
It doesn't. It's all square anyway. All right, so I think it'll be Silverfield 1. I think it'll be Silverfield, Norvell, Kiffin, Leach in that order. Silverfield, Norvell, Kiffin, Leach.
Y'all might take this one by surprise. Silverfield, obviously 1. I go Kiffin 2, Leach 3, Norvell 4.
All right, why is Silverfield? Wait, why do you say obviously Silverfield?
Because I think his job situation, the conference he's in, what he likes to do, how well he recruits, definitely lends itself to the most wins. And you're just in a somewhat, and I want to say this fairly and nicely. it's a group of 5. It's an inferior.
But you believe you believe him when he says he's not looking to go anywhere. You think he's staying here for the long term. If he's winning big, you don't think he's leaving like the others have.
It depends, but I think because he's sort of the third coach here in line, as far as being a winner, right? I think it's going to be harder for him to get those offers, being that he took over a great situation, and that's just sort of how that works most of the time.
It could also work the other way. The success of Justin Fuente and Mike Norvell could play a part in the offers that Ryan Silverfield gets as long as he continues winning at Memphis. So there may be more.
Yeah, but I feel like people I feel like certain schools take their time in hiring a guy who took over a great situation and hasn't made it substantially noticeably better. And when you're coming off a Cotton Bowl appearance at Memphis, it's hard to go much higher than that in the near future, right? So that's where I'm at. I think it's going to be tough for him to go above and beyond what the coaches before him did and then get a high-paying good job.
With Norvell for you, do you think it's going to go really bad and he's going to get fired?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, to be honest with you, yes.
See,
wow.
I
would put Norvell 1.
See, I was just going to say I almost put Norvell 1 because I think he's going to get it done. I know it's rocky. It's really been rocky to start, but I think it's going to get it done. And once you get it done at Florida State, he's probably going to be there for the rest of his career. Where are you going to go from Florida State? So that if they get back to where they once were and he's doing his job, he could be there for the rest of his career. That's a lot of wins. Ryan Silverfield picks up a lot of wins, gets an offer, could leave. So, I'm taking that chance there in this little thing.
I'm just taking context clues from year one of Mike Norvell's sort of tenure there. It's been absolutely awful. I mean, I don't know how it could have gotten worse.
Yeah, but I think
it could have gotten worse if they lost to Jacksonville.
Yeah,
State.
if they lost to Jacksonville. But Willie Taggart didn't do this bad.
I think all bets are off with COVID-19, even though they did fire Hobson down at Southern Miss.
I think Taggart still gets, and I think most of the fans there still blame Taggart for the current situation. I don't think they're blaming Mike Norvell for the current situation.
No, but there's been a lot of irate fans already early in the year. They expected the turnaround to be like immediate. It's not going to be. He's going to have to get his guys in. I mean, Gabe makes a great point. It couldn't be any rockier. But I think he will steady the ship. They will start to win big eventually, not this year. And I think he could be in it for the long haul. So to me, it was Norvell or Silverfield. I know Ryan said, hey, this is the dream job. I want to be here forever. That's coach speak. But I think Ryan's going to be very successful. So I could have easily went Norvell 1. Now Kiffin and Leach. I see Leach. Leach is older than probably what I think he is. He looks old, but he's probably not as old as I think. So I'm thinking that Kiffin, even though he has been known to bounce around a little bit, will be there longer at Ole Miss and will have more success. And I think Mike
Leach is 59.
Yeah, he's not as old as he's my age basically. But I'm going to go Kiffin and then Leach. That's tough right there. So it's a really good question.
I would go Norvell, Silverfield, Leach, Kiffin.
Because you think Kiffin's kind of
I think Kiffin gets that turned around at all, and all he's got to do is win 7 or 8 games.
And he leaves again.
He'll leave. I don't think Lane Kiffin wants to set down roots in Oxford, Mississippi. I mean, Lane Kiffin.
Nice place to raise your children.
Oh, it's a great place, but I think Lane Kiffin wants to be in the biggest possible job.
He wants the limelight. I mean, you make a really good point. Obviously, you came up with the question, so you had some time to think about it. I think you've sold me on the switcheroo. I think you're right. I think Leach should be 3 and Kiffin 4. That's a really good point you make about that. But, yeah, I think you can make a nice little disagreement, or not disagreement, but a little discussion about Silverfield or Norvell. But Gabe doesn't like what's happening so far. Nobody has to be nobody's happy with that. But I think he'll turn it around. They're going to have a little bit of patience here with Norvell.
I still think he'll go to a playoff there.
And that's part of my other point. When have Florida State fans ever had patience in regards to a rebuild with the football program?
They don't. They don't. But
I already know people are mad. You lost to Georgia Tech. You were losing at halftime to Jacksonville State. You lost 52-10 to your in-state rival Miami.
Right. But it's COVID-19, man. They're going to give these guys a break. We think you're going to fire Norvell after 1 year?
I'm not saying that.
I still think most of their fans blame Taggart for that current situation.
Well,
the
Taggart
lack
won,
of talent he brought it
but
that he had there.
But Taggart won 6 games and beat Georgia Tech for dang sure
in his first year.
Yeah,
yeah, but what players was he getting? Who was there before him?
As far as recruiting goes,
was he right after Bowden? Willie Taggart?
No, gosh, right after Bowden, Jimbo Fisher was there, won a national championship.
And then it was Taggart.
Oh yeah, gosh, what am I thinking?
Bobby Bowden's been gone a long time.
Senior moment.
Somebody texted in on the First Bank text line, said Memphis' job is much more attractive than when Fuente and Norvell first arrived, so more incentive for Silverfield to stay longer.
It is more attractive. There's no question about it.
But I mean, and maybe Silverfield's there. I just assume all of these guys, you get into coach, you want to win the ultimate prize. That's a national championship.
Right. Well, let me go back.
And you can't win that at Memphis.
Right. Well, you went in Florida State, like you said, with Jimbo. Did Jimbo leave the cover completely bare when he left for A&M?
Yes, the recruiting went way down. I mean, that's.
But was it completely bare where you can't win 6? And Taggart won 6, and then he went down from there. Was the demise of the program left a little bit by what he left in Jimbo's departure, but then it didn't get any better under Taggart, and the recruiting wasn't there. You got to give Norvell some time to recruit. He's been there 1 year. I mean, not even a full year. I think you got to give him a little time.
Yeah, I don't. Again, I mean, you might be right, Gabe. I think Norvell will get it turned around, and I think he's going to win big at Florida State. Somebody texted in, by the way, about the whole 6-foot at sporting events. Yes, the health department again has made the announcement today. We talked with Jeff Crane, and he mentioned the fact that they were getting ready to make that announcement. Have their weekly briefing, and they were hoping that was going to be the case. But yes, now 6 feet separation at sporting events. So for Tiger football, for high school football games, any sporting events going on, now only 6 feet of separation needed rather than the 12 feet that had been in place. So there you go. So that, which is good news, really good news for the high schools, for Memphis, for everybody. That's a chance to sell more tickets, bring more people in, sell more concessions, make more money, which is a very good thing.
But not good for the city schools because they're still not playing football.
Well, they didn't matter. Whether it stayed at 12 feet or 6 feet, it didn't matter to them. Yeah. They were neutral on the decision because it wasn't going to affect them whatsoever. You need a tough, reliable tractor that tackles tough chores. Well, the Case IH Farmall series of tractors at Mid-South Ag Equipment is exactly what you need. You can go see the folks at Mid-South Ag Equipment by taking I-269 to the Goodman Road exit and then heading west just a half a mile. That's where you'll find them, and that's where you'll find that full line of Case IH Farmall series of tractors, bush hog cutters, bush hog zero-turn lawnmowers. They've got new equipment. They've got used equipment. They can service your current equipment. They can do it all. They are the experts in the field. They are Mid-South Ag Equipment. Online at midsouthag.com as well. Go check them out just south of Collierville on Goodman Road, Mid-South Ag Equipment.
All right, buddy. Happy birthday, and enjoy the golf today.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. That's Eli Savoy. We'll take one final time out. We'll come back with some NFL news, some good news for a former Tiger player. We will discuss that. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and now 98.5 FM.
Let Dave Voloshin and Brett Nordsworthy take you home with Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Do you have any idea why I never speak the way I am right now? It's because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you do not need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get a customer's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or buy their products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. Fiveash Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service possible and do it at a fair price, why would I need gimmicks to sell it? Best products, best warranties, and best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered, and they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
If ever there was a time for comfort food, this is it. And there's no comfort food like Sunrise on Jefferson. Fresh-made breakfast featuring Sunrise's signature homemade square biscuits or the huge selection of hot, fresh, and fast lunch items are all part of what has always made Sunrise the most comforting of comfort foods in Memphis. Of course, everything that can be done to keep you and the staff safe at Sunrise is a top priority. And you can always order ahead and get delicious Sunrise to go. At a time this confusing, it's good to know there's one thing you can count on: Sunrise.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays delivered by FedEx. Visit FedEx.com/e-commerce to see how FedEx can help you start, grow, and efficiently manage your business. This hour is also brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Big shout out to our great sponsors. East Memphis Ace Hardware, as Mr. Announcer Man said, third hour sponsor of Middays. Convenience, service, knowledge, and price. They have it for you at East Memphis Ace Hardware, 5143 Quince Road, right next door to Billy Hardwick's All-Star Lanes. AceHardware.com online, where they have free shipping. Call them at 901-683-8688 if you need to have any questions answered. Check on things that are in stock. They're open Monday through Saturday, 8 to 7, Sunday 10 to 4. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware. So this is interesting. The Preakness, which we didn't even talk about yesterday, we're so packed with stuff to talk about that we didn't have a chance. It was an incredible race, and I can't remember the last time I actually didn't watch a Triple Crown race, but because everything is so discombobulated, and they had the Belmont, then the Derby, then the Preakness, there was going to be no chance for a Triple Crown winner, nor it wasn't a match race between Authentic and Tiz the Law, since Tiz the Law didn't race in it. I completely forgot about it. I'm watching college football on Saturday afternoon. The race went off. Didn't see it. But then I saw the replays, and it was unbelievable. The finish was unreal, and the filly won the race, and the numbers for the viewership of that race way down. And why? Because of the reasons I just talked about with the NBA. 2.4 million viewers for this year's Preakness. Last year, 5.41. The year before, 7.90. So it's a combination of things when people look at the NBA and they go, it's down 68%. To just sit there and put out a blanket statement that it's because of the politics only and the Black Lives Matter movement, that's ridiculous, Gabe. It's everything that's going on. People aren't paying attention to sports like they did because there's other things that are more pivotal going on with everybody's health, with a presidential election going on this year. There's a lot of things happening, and I hate saying that as a sports guy.
And you have, I think it's certainly part of it. There's some people I know that just do not watch it because of those reasons.
And that was my third. That was my third when Eli asked me for the third.
But I don't know if that population is certainly not big enough to make that substantial of a difference, in my opinion. And also, the NBA, the MLB, the NFL, college football, all going on at the same time. People have their preferences. When all of them are on at the same time, you might choose and pick based on what your likes are, and that's just what it is.
So you agreed with my 3 reasons?
Yeah, I agree. I agree mostly with the fact that I think it has to do with everything else. We have more MLB baseball, playoff baseball, than we've ever had before. More teams. You had 3-game wild card series. It was more exciting.
Plus, the NBA Finals
right?
is normally in June.
And the NBA Finals,
right? It's
the,
happening now here in October.
The Darren Rovell thing of there's no fans. No, I don't buy that.
That was stupid.
And also the NFL, if the NFL is ever competing, if the NBA and NFL are ever competing, the NFL wins. The NFL beats everybody.
Yet their
head-to-head.
numbers are still a bit down as well. They're better than every other sport. It is the number one.
Because attraction's
sport.
being taken away from it slightly, although it's still going to win.
All right, so from the NFL, speaking of the NFL, some great news here for one Jannard Avery, who you played with. Jannard Avery, drafted by Cleveland, now is with Philadelphia. The Eagles just beat San Francisco on Sunday, and Jim Schwartz, the defensive coordinator, said, this was the breakout game we have been waiting for. We knew it was going to happen with Jannard Avery, and they are really excited and happy. And that's a team that's got a lot of really talented defensive players led by Fletcher Cox. But Jannard Avery is really making a name for himself in the National Football League.
Well, I think what they got him for is they have a guy named Brandon Graham who's been in the league forever and has been a fantastic pass rusher, 6'2", 270, just a guy that has been real stout off the edge for years and years and years, and he's getting older. So I think that's what they're looking to do with Jannard now is insert him in that role, be a good pass rusher, and just be an athletic menace off the edge for them.
From the college football world, we talked earlier with Connor O'Gara about the possibility of the LSU-Mizzou game being moved from Baton Rouge to Columbia because of the hurricane that's in the Gulf. And that decision, he said, will probably be made by Thursday. It's unlikely to be made anytime after that, so they'll make that decision by Thursday. Could be earlier. Keith Carter, the Ole Miss AD, as the Rebels are getting ready to host Alabama on Saturday, says we continue to monitor the weather forecast for this weekend and its impact on Saturday's football game. There are currently no adjustments to the schedule, which calls for a 5 p.m. kickoff. We remain in communication with the SEC and Alabama, and we'll update fans if plans change. So I guess the I haven't looked at the forecast, is that weather is when it hits land is going right up the Delta and towards the Mid-South, I would assume, on Saturday, so it could be a little nasty. So they are obviously gauging that situation to make sure everything's okay to have that game played at its scheduled time of 5 o'clock. There are more ways to win than ever before on the FanDuel Fantasy app. From daily fantasy to new season-long contests, you can play for free or join paid games to compete for real cash prizes. Right now, FanDuel is giving new players 20% on their first deposit, up to $500 in bonus credit. That's added instantly into your new account. Enter now to play in Sunday slate and single-game contests. You can try your luck in Gridiron Pick'em. Just pick the winners of Sunday's NFL matchups correctly for your chance to earn up to $5,000 every week. That's absolutely free. And when you win, FanDuel pays out your winnings in as little as 24 hours. If you haven't tried FanDuel yet, what are you waiting for? Simply download the FanDuel Fantasy app today to get started and claim your deposit bonus of up to $500. Use the promo code GASMAN so they know we sent you. When you verify your account, you'll receive $50 in site credit when the FanDuel Sportsbook is live in Tennessee. Again, that's the promo code GASMAN to get $50 in site credit when the FanDuel Superbook, or Sportsbook, I should say, gets going live. So it's right around the corner. We're just about here. It's going to be a lot of fun. Check it out at FanDuel and get that app. Download it today, the FanDuel Fantasy app. All right, baseball today. Gabe Kuhn, give me your thoughts. Give me your 4 predictions on the games for today. Let's start with the National League Divisional Series, Game 1. You have the Marlins and the Braves.
History would tell me not to go with the Braves because they seem to choke in these situations, but I'm going to go Braves here. I think they're a better all-around team. They're actually hitting as opposed to last year.
Dodgers and Padres, can't wait for this one. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm going to go Dodgers. I like Walker Buehler.
Okay, in the American League Divisional Series, Houston's up 1-0 on Oakland. Oakland tries to get the equalizer today. Do they do so?
I don't think so. No, I think the Astros take it again. They're hitting well again, and I hate to see it. I really do. They're streaking. They're playing well. They're hitting. It's like they're cheating again.
How about Carlos Correa putting his money where his mouth is? He's the one that's been the most vocal. He hit 2 home runs yesterday. They had 16 hits to the 8 of the A's. And then the Yankees, they are just bombing away. They've scored 12, 10, and 9 in their 3 playoff games. They beat Tampa yesterday 9-3. Do the Yankees go 2-0 up on Tampa?
Yes, I believe so.
These are best of 5 series, so they could be pretty much over Houston, Oakland, and Yankees, Tampa Bay if the Astros and the Yankees win. Time now for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
All right, Gabe, this is something you and I were talking about during an earlier break. Referee Tony Corrente said Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes was being controlled quite a bit as the reason that a key play in Monday's game against the Patriots was ruled a sack and not a fumble. The Chiefs went on to win 26-10, but that play happened at a critical juncture in the game, and who knows what could have happened the rest of the way. You and I both believe that play they should have let that play out a bit. It should have been either, if you ruled it a fumble or an interception, it should have been the Patriots' ball, correct?
Absolutely. I thought it was a ridiculous call to even blow the whistle at that time. Between Chase Winovich getting there and the ball coming out, it was probably about a second, right? And there's no reason you should have any forward progress, anything like that in that amount of time. I didn't like the call. Bill Belichick hated the call. And it was 6-3 at the end of the half.
And that was even a play before the screw up by Hoyer at the end of the first half when they probably should have at least gotten a field goal.
Heck, it was on the Chiefs' end of the field. Patriots, if you get the equalizer there at the end of the half or possibly go up 10-6, that could be a game-changing thing.
And if anybody could keep a play going, it's Patrick Mahomes in the National Football League. I understand the safety. I understand you don't want to get your quarterbacks hurt, but that was really premature, in my opinion. Big thanks to Connor O'Gara, Scott Miller, and Jeff Crane for joining us on the program today. Again, Jeff talked about the thought of the distancing change that was coming from the Shelby County Health Department. He said we'd hear something sooner than later. Well, we have already heard that news. And starting with the UCF game on the 17th, a week from Saturday, there'll be a lot more fans allowed at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium to watch the Tigers. So that's certainly good news, as the 12-foot restriction now has been lowered to 6 feet between fans inside the stadium. So that is certainly good news. We want to thank you for listening, folks. As always, we appreciate it. Tomorrow, Jerry Palm will join us for his weekly visit. Sigmund Bloom will answer all your NFL fantasy football questions. And DeMichael Cole's going to join us. He's with the Philadelphia Inquirer. He's a Memphian who's now a writer in Philadelphia. We'll get his thoughts. That's a real feel-good story. Our 5 favorite songs tomorrow is this. The topic is this, so make sure to send in your list tomorrow. Stay tuned. Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio is coming up next. For Eli Savoy and Gabe Kuhn, I'm Greg Gaston. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, everybody.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food